Going live. Going live. You're live. Are we
Ah!
live? Are your headphones on, everyone? Right. We're fashionably late. We're only 3 minutes late. We're fine. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing?
We are in a state of being. We are present. We are here.
It is another day where it's a case of it should not have been such a rush to get going because we were kind of lounging around at like 2:30, and I was like, oh yeah, right. I think I've done everything I need to do today. You know, there's plenty of time to set up, and then just
I mean, I set up all my stuff and then was just like, cool, what needs doing now? And then Graham was just like, all the things need doing.
Yeah.
None of the words are being provided.
Carol came in and was he was standing in the workshop looking down at the Stream PC, and I was just like, so I'm thinking, and the Stream PC has the side panel off, the SSD ripped out, and the graphics card hanging out the side with the water cooling hoses still attached. He's like, you're gonna put that back together again or something, you know? And I'm like, probably, you know. So
about that time, eh, chaps?
Yeah, righto. Anyway, so yes, hello everyone. How are we doing? I'm wasting no time today. I'm gonna start on half of the Worleys.
I would go for Worleys.
Worleys. Worleys, Somerset-made red hen.
No, definitely Worleys.
Okay.
I was just trying to think, you know, with regional accents and stuff, how I could make it try and sound something else that was reasonable. I was like, no.
Okay, so let's put ourselves in the mindset of the Somerset person and go, ooh, Somerset.
Well, it's going to make it Worleys, isn't it? Yeah.
Worleys Somerset-made red hen craft cider. There we go.
Very well.
So, right, I'm going to have a half of this because we've decided that we're divvying up the ciders so we actually both get to sample them.
No, JD. No.
Dare I ask? Oh, yes. No, I saw that out the corner of my eye. Don't continue this. Right, I've taken
Is this a new table? No, it is the same bench that has been here for 18 months?
Yeah.
Maybe.
However,
we're probably going to look back at the videos and suddenly go, oh, God, it's been 3 years. Never mind.
I know, right? Yeah. However, we are sitting on opposite sides. Normally, I sit on the right. Normally, I sit stage left.
Normally, Graham sits here.
Yes. However, because I'm probably doing assembly, I decided to sit over here because I'm probably going to be doing assembly. So yes.
Oh, our gym lad, where's the treasure map? Good afternoon, Treblaine.
They're more like guidelines, really. I'm going to preemptively. Is the latch down? Yes, it is. Yeah.
You're going to preemptively shut the blinds?
Yeah, just because I don't know. I've got a feeling that there's going to be an interruption. I'm not expecting an interruption, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm also going to keep this on hand because of reasons, because we want noises. This is a USB speaker.
Ah.
So yes, I'm just preemptively going, oh, we have no sound and we want to hear Windows noises today.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm going to quickly plug this in. Right.
Yes. Has it been 2 years that you've been here, or is it 3? Did you move in 2020?
This is year 3, I believe. It was...
no, it was January 21.
Yeah? January 21 was when I moved in, Well, February 21 anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was purely that moment where I'm like, what is time and what are years?
Yeah. Yeah. Part of me is just like, oh, that's interesting, and part of me doesn't want to think about it because then I'll start thinking about all the things that should have been done by now that aren't done by now. And I'm just like, don't think about it, just keep working, you know? So.
Yes. Keep producing your economic output. Do not consider.
Yeah. Vince Cooper says, how do you keep track of the jobs that come in? Do you have a ticketing system? Any more chance of videos on how you run a repair shop? Yeah, I have a spreadsheet. And no, there won't be any more videos on how I run a repair shop because I don't think I'm a good role model on how to run a repair shop, if I'm honest.
I feel like that could be...
I'm good at fixing things. I'm not organised. I
think that could be a good set of kind of things just kind of going... Because there are common questions that come up about, oh, what do you do with, what is your shop for? And just kind of almost putting those is sort of, you know, scripted video, obviously, but kind of a case of just putting that video out and going like, this is how I do this, this is how I do this, this is how I do this kind of thing. And just being like, here's how I did it in this year. And then obviously it means you can look back at it as well and go, how has my opinion on this changed?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I think the reason why it bothers me is just like, for example, you know, like the spreadsheet is bad and I do not want to share it, kind of thing. Yeah. You know, that the methodology there is just objectively bad, and I'm like, there are some things where it's a case of no, don't make a video on that because it's bad. Even if you're making a video to explain why it's bad, no, just don't tell anyone you do it, kind of thing. You know.
I guess, I don't know. Obviously, it's not my sin, so to speak. But obviously, I feel like that's kind of how we end up in certain situations where, because nobody shares what they do, nobody talks about why it's bad, and nobody feels like they can.
I think
kind of thing. And, and whilst I think that doesn't specifically apply in this case necessarily, but just kind of it's a thought process to avoid.
I think in order to do that, what I would have to be doing is to make a video saying how I have now switched to this new ticketing system, like there's one called Repair Shop or something like that. Yeah. Like there is literally a program out there for me, and I need to start looking at using that. And then I could make a video saying I use this software, which is a vast improvement over the old days when I was just running everything in a spreadsheet, which is bad. And you know, like the only saving grace for that is that technically the spreadsheet is encrypted because Google Docs, kind of thing. You know, that's the only reason why it gets past or scrapes through data protection or what. You know.
I guess, but
so yeah. So yes,
the spreadsheet only gets longer.
Yeah, it feels that way. Like I'm that's mainly also just because so many tickets just don't get closed because I forget to close the ticket when the customer collects the computer. So there's so much stuff that is marked as completed awaiting collection that is actually just gone, you know. So yeah, and it's and then that requires me to then do a stock take to establish what is still in the shop and what isn't, and like that's another day's work that I don't have time for. And then people are just like, well, come in on a weekend or something. I'm like, I don't have enough free time for myself as it is. I'm not giving up any more free time, you know. I don't know.
But saying about that, I would be very interested if Paul Daniels has done a run through on kind of his setup, because so much of that seems to be
his is going to be really good,
very custom, very specific to how he works.
Yeah.
But I feel very interesting as an insight to kind of what you can do when you know you can make software, you can make hardware yourself, when you can build the entire thing from front to back, and just kind of go, how do I want to work?
Yeah, Paul's problem is that he's a perfectionist, and like so much of it, like I think I'm safe at the moment. I don't think he's in chat at the moment. I haven't spotted him, but yeah.
Quick scan.
Yeah. Paul's problem is that he's a perfectionist, so he's got loads of really amazing stuff, and people are just like, you should share this, you should, you know, or you should sell this as a solution. And he's like, no, it's not good enough for that kind of thing. And I was just like, it doesn't have to be world class. Like, just make it good enough, like good enough for Australia kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like with thanks, Bing. It's kind of like with you know, the current production things he's doing with his power meter and his ring light and stuff like that. The reason why there's no mass production on those is that he doesn't trust a mass manufacturing factory to do a good enough job. And I'm like, this is understandable. And
because it's not at a scale big enough to get
precisely. But also to a certain, you know, and he's explained his reasoning on streams. You know, he said like, oh, you know, I could give this to a factory and just ignore the fact that they'll probably clone the design. However, even then, I'll tell them to use these types of LEDs, and then they'll put knockoff ones in there instead after I've paid for the expensive ones and stuff. And it's like, I understand these problems, but I don't know that. There must be a way around it, but also he knows an awful lot more about this kind of thing than I do.
Yeah.
And so,
I feel like
same with software solutions. Like, you know, I don't know. He's explained the problems, but also, yeah, I don't know. It's complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know the solutions
No.
But yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that's something you kind of get a grasp of as you get more generally experienced in more general stuff through life. You kind of go, oh my God, so much stuff is so unfathomably complicated for no apparent reason other than the fact of because it kind of is.
Yeah.
And we can't uncomplicate it.
Also, hey Paul, how's it going?
There is no need for you to watch the VOD.
We're just hanging out.
Absolutely. So anyway, monitors.
Yes. Anyway, as for what we're doing today,
absolutely, Paul's ears must have been burning.
I was commenting on how awesome a lot of your stuff is and how it needs to be available for purchase by the world, but because of complicated reasons, that's not possible.
Yes.
So yes. So yeah, we weren't talking shite. I was actually saying how awesome your stuff is and how it needs to be purchasable, but also I completely understand the reasoning why your stuff is not in mass manufacture. Anyway, we're fixing monitors today.
Yes.
So I've got we've got a couple to look at. Caradog rocked up with another 3, so we're not going to fix all of them today. However, this is the first one. This one I think will be an easy one. And I'm just going to try and reproduce the fault now. So this monitor, this is one of the ones that I use on my repair workbench. This is just because someone's going to ask, this is a Dell
U2412M.
Yeah, it's a U2412M. You ultra sharp nerd.
It's my bloody monitor.
Yes. Anyway, U2412M. The problem with this one is these ultra sharps have got built-in USB hubs, and this one is. I'm going to test it. It's not going to do it now. Maybe it needs to have something plugged into it. I'm going to grab another item to daisy chain it.
But it's also possibly the case that it might not actually be the USB port that's
the problem. It might be the cable. I don't think it's the cable.
Well, not that, in the sense of having stuff plugged into it causes the hub to crash or whatever.
Could be. It definitely happens when you wobble the cable.
Oh,
so
I see.
Yeah. Right, so I've just plugged in a webcam, and so now I'm going to wobble the hub cable, so the Type B cable that goes back to the computer. I hate everything.
So, was it the cable?
There's a brand new cable over there. I don't want to say it's the cable, but I think it's the cable.
What do you normally have plugged into the monitor?
This, actually.
Is that it?
Yeah. This is well, I normally have other stuff plugged in as well, but it has definitely done it with just this webcam plugged in.
Oh, I see.
This is the multimeter cam. So yes.
I use a C920 as my multimeter cam now.
Yes.
I'm in the big leagues.
I mean, it's only 30 FPS. It's pretty shite, you know. So yeah, okay. Well, in that case, it has to be the cable then. Which, maybe it's just a crap cable I'm using over there. I guess I'm going to have to swap it out and to find out. The problem is that cable is. I tell you what, I'm going to very quickly pull that cable out from the bench setup.
I was going to say, yeah.
Because also, I think this is only Velcroed in. I don't think it's zip tied in. So I think I had the foresight not to zip tie everything in on this bench.
Yes. I remember you going through that logic when we were recording the video for the review that didn't quite make it into the review.
Yeah.
About how you were saying, I'm going to Velcro everything down.
Just so it's
because I
actually changeable.
know that I'm going to have to change the layout several times before I get something I'm actually comfortable with.
Yeah.
Especially because I've got this extra space. And also because it's a case of it goes up and down and different things need different positions depending on which height.
Yeah.
So I'll work something out.
Right. I think that's the one.
And two? I do not understand. I will just unplug all the USB cables.
I'm just going to have to undo all these Velcro ties for now, I think.
All 15 of them?
Yeah. When I'm not in a hurry, the trick with Velcro ties on your cable looms is you can undo them one by one, pulling the cable out a bit at a time as you go. However, when you're in a hurry, that's very time consuming. So I'm just like, nope, I'm just going to rip all these off and rip the cable out.
And this can be Henry's job.
Yeah. All right.
I will get a man or a boy. Boy, fix my cabling.
Boy. Right. Now, admittedly, this USB cable, it's not, I mean, it's okay, but, you know, it's a bit thin. Maybe it is just a crap cable. Like, it's brand new, but yeah, I'll plug it in and find out.
Oh, yeah, no, these don't have a card reader, do they?
No. Oh, there it goes. Okay, right, plug that in.
Good.
Right, detected.
Are we going to find that just the PC doesn't bloop?
It's really slow to respond when I unplug it, so it might be this PC.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a fair test. I tell you what, oh, freaking hell. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to plug the USB cable into, because like I say, I'm positive this thing is damaged.
Yeah. Plug it into the stream PC?
Yeah, exactly, because that's the one where it gets used.
Yeah.
So plug it into the stream PC, and we'll find out.
Oh, there we go. I was like, how do I get the volume mixer?
Yeah, volume is already at max on that preemptively because that
No,
was...
No, that's fine. I wanted to view the volume mixer because even if we didn't have sound plugged in, you'd still see the bar jump.
Yep, makes sense.
Yes.
So I'll try...
I am infrequently sensible.
Right, so this is with the known good cable.
Yes, this was the microphone cable, wasn't it? There we go.
Oh, that straight away has given us USB device not recognized.
Yes. Which I guess means it doesn't work. Hold on, if you pull out the camera.
That hasn't responded.
Interesting. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. However,
that has, though.
Yeah.
But
that just straight away, that gave us USB device not recognized. So, yeah, that's reproduction as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
we plugged
if you do it with the camera not plugged in, just to make sure it wasn't the camera not getting detected properly because it's through a hub.
Yeah, no, USB device not recognized.
Cool.
Yep, good.
Ta-da!
All right, there we go. We have reproduction. So, bloody hell. How long we 20 minutes into the stream and we've reproduced the fault that was supposed to be an obvious one. Right. I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way and I'm going to start taking this thing apart.
It's fine. It's fine. Yep. It could have been worse. We could have got to the end of a stream and gone, why can't I make the USB not work?
Yes. Best repair channel on YouTube. All right.
2 coffee machines for the price of 1.
So my theory on this is just simply that the Type B port on the back of this guy has just worn out. So I think this is going to be an easy replacement. I think this is going to be an easy job of take it apart, desolder the Type B port, and put a new one on. I have new Type B ports. So I think this should just simply be a take apart job and change the port on it now. So I'm going to start taking this thing apart.
As Arnold says, air fryer upgrades.
Yes.
If you had a 27-inch air fryer and you air fry a monitor, do I get out a 4K OLED?
How do you think they make the mother glass? You make the mother glass, you cut out a monitor, you put the monitor in a big air fryer, and you get another mother glass. It's like the chocolate bar thing where if you cut it a certain way, you end up with more chocolate.
I was going to say, it sounds like some sort of replication machine in Minecraft. I take out one source block, and it makes another one. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think there is a firmware update for any of these Dell monitors, because they're very, very sparse in which ones they actually publicly release firmware updates for. because I was looking for my...
What would you even update?
Usually I always get the letters wrong.
EDID.
EDID. Yes, because there was an EDID issue with the Dell 3011, which meant that the DVI ports only worked with certain graphics card clock chips.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
And they never released a firmware update for that and told everyone who had the problem, lol, 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 that's your graphics card's problem. Nothing to do with us.
Wow.
On their professional $1,000 monitor.
I was going to say, that monitor's not a cheap screen, so yeah.
So it was just like,
I see.
Thanks, I guess.
Buy Dell Ultra Sharps, everyone.
But yeah, but it's also a case of like, obviously with more modern monitors, HDR tone mapping, roll off, things like that, ETF, UTF tracking roll off. I can't remember what the letters are, but the actual like HDR roll off and stuff, because that's been broken on some monitors. Cooler Master released a monitor where they did a firmware update for it that introduced black frame insertion. I was going to ask for a bottle opener as well, so I could actually open the bottle, but I was also going to take the bottle. Yes, thank you. I will take all of the items, just give them to me.
I'm about to take a panel out. I want things like glass bottles out of arm flailing reach.
Yes,
so, yeah.
If it's in my hand and you're flailing and hitting me, there are bigger problems. You have missed. Apple VR headset, really?
Oh yeah, I heard that was out.
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumblings about it in the VR community recently. Is it out?
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember. I see. Oh yeah, $3,000. Everyone saw $3,000 and was like,
really?
No, was basically the reaction to it. But I haven't read up on like software support for it and just like, you know, is it actually good or not? I don't understand why everyone is making these super expensive VR headsets. I don't understand who wants these. Who is using mixed reality?
Oh, I see what you mean about the scroll wheel on this mouse.
Yeah, if you try and like push it slightly to the right as you scroll, and it will not be broken.
Fine, okay. There is precisely zero information in here. What? Apparently, according to some leak, each eye in there is a 12K screen. Anyone who believes that is misinformed as to the power required to drive a 12K monitor.
At VR, yeah.
You're not getting 12K per eye.
Yeah. Also aside, it's just like, can you even, is that PPI even possible? I mean, we haven't
aliens.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't got like at the end of the day, you know, we're looking at comparable screens to what you'd find on a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And they sure as hell don't have a 12K mobile phone, do they?
No, as far as I'm aware, the highest is a fraction above 4K at like 6 inches.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was going to say like I could believe 8K because I think either the big Big View, I think it is, or something like that.
Isn't there Zigmax or something like that? Zymax or something who make 8K
screens? The brands of these HMDs have gone straight out of my head now. However, there is Pimax who make Pimax have an 8K HMD.
Yeah, they've got one that is. They're called their 12K, which is 6K per eye.
Yeah.
Which I can believe.
Yeah.
I can believe 6K per eye. I can't believe 12K per eye. 24,000 pixels wide.
Mm.
You're not running that with dual 4090s.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to be powered by Bluetooth or something. And I'm like, no, none of this works.
Yeah. We'll switch to the overhead cam when there's actually something to see, because at the moment you'll see the side of a monitor. So yeah, like I'm just waiting to actually get the panel out, and then when there's something to look at, we'll change views.
Unless they're gonna do, I don't know. The only thing I can imagine is it being like it's a 12K panel driven at 6K, and they pixel shift the image every frame and run the display at 200 hertz or something to give you an actual 100 hertz. I don't know, but that seems like a complete waste of time and effort.
Can you just support that for me, please, Tart? While I figure out the bloody wires on this thing. Right, I'm almost there. Come on. I'm getting very hot. And you're bothered.
It is quite warm in here.
Yeah.
I did open the back door
I was
preemptively.
Yeah, I was fine at the start, and however now I'm not fine. Okay, right, that is free. And that is ready to come out. All right, I'm now going to immediately strip.
Very well. You're going to go down to only 5 layers.
Only 2 layers.
Are you ill?
No, I'm thin.
No, I meant the fact that you're only wearing 2. The only 2.
Oh, I see.
The only times in the past you've ever been down that low is when you're ill.
Summer is coming. There's a severe danger of me showing my arms, you know. Anyway, yeah, the Apple VR headset is hilariously expensive, and again,
I hope it's hilariously good though. Like, I don't care if it's £3,000. If it's literally the best one anyone's ever made ever, it is the sharpest, the widest field of view, the fastest pixel response rates, the sharpest, etc., etc. You know, if it is the best in literally every category, then I'm like, cool. I don't care that it's the price because it's it's 4090 problem.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Like again, you know, you know, there are enthusiasts who are buying the Quest Pro and the Vive, whatever the new Vive is.
Yes.
Even though they cost like £1,100 and £1,200, you know, they cost a 4-figure sum. There are people buying them just simply because they're just like, I have money and I want the best VR headset money can buy.
Exactly.
You know, but like the VR community at large is just, or the VR enthusiast community at large is just like, we don't want 4-figure sum headsets. Especially these headsets are not geared toward what we want from VR. And so that this begs the question, well, who are these headsets for? And they're all talking about augmented reality and stuff like that. And I'm like, but who is using that? This is what I don't understand.
Yeah.
There must be someone using it if they're making them.
Yeah.
But I don't understand who these people are. Are there actually businesses that have people sitting at desks wearing augmented reality headsets and having all of the virtual screens? Because like it looks really cool.
I've seen.
But who is actually using it?
Whilst admittedly this was from HTC.
You can go to overhead.
Yeah, absolutely. Whilst obviously this was from HTC.
Yeah.
I've seen, there we go, several design houses. So, you know, 3D modeling stuff, architectural stuff, things like that, working with augmented reality stuff. Because they're actually designing the buildings, doing the street layout and stuff like that, doing the civil engineering in real time, in 3D, collaboratively, and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And it's like, I can kind of see a use for that, where you're doing kind of city planning collaboratively in real time, in AR.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I can kind of see that. And like, stuff like that. And like, I kind of get a use for that. Or just people like doing 3D modeling and seeing it in 3D whilst they're modeling using VR headsets and stuff. Again, I kind of get that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's just kind of a case where I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me at $3,000 a headset sort of thing. I could understand $1,000 a headset quite easily because that's an easy sell when you're working on a $20 billion project.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I'm designing half of a city. Yes, this project's going to be $400 billion just in consultation fees, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Spending, you know, $100,000 on some computers is neither here nor there. So, you know, I kind of get that, but it's just like, but it's also kind of a case of selling the use case. But it's also the fact of obviously on the other side, to a degree, there's always a place for a product which is simply the best.
Yes.
Because it demonstrates the technology is viable as a product, and someone can go, I'll take 0.5% lower margin on that, and I'll do this to make the price slightly cheaper, and suddenly you've got a project that, you know, a product.
It's fine.
Probably shouldn't have done that. Yep. You get a product that's, you know, £1,000 cheaper suddenly, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it demonstrates viability, but it's obviously a case of, you know, to a degree, you could build a MacBook now that Apple have shown that it's possible, but you could go, well, if we re-engineer this bit, and actually, if we stop this being, you know, the hinge assembly being made this way, or if we stop this bit being cut out like this, we can reduce our materials cost in this way. So actually, we can sell it for 400 quid less or something like that.
Yes.
But we now know that this is a viable product.
Yes.
These tooling methods are viable for mass production. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, there are sides to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 3D modeling software, some of it's $15,000 a year. So $3,000 for a headset is neither here nor there.
This is true. However, but then on the, you know, but like for 3D modeling, it's like I can see having an office with 100 workstations and 100 people doing 3D modeling in it. But it's just like, but is there actually going to be companies and entire offices of people using AR stuff? I don't know. It just seems extremely. But then again, though, I'm kind of going.
I guess you throw that the other way around and go for everyone who's doing, you know, architectural drawings by hand in the 70s. And people said, oh, in 10 years' time, we'll be doing this all on computer and it will be automated. And everyone went, no, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And then it
that's
did,
true.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's impossible to see just beyond the curve.
Yeah. Also, I'm kind of implying that because like, I'm complaining that no one is making headsets that are focused toward what the enthusiast community is looking for. However, also at that point now, I'm now implying that the enthusiast community is bigger than than people, you know, enterprise space.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's probably less likely, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also just a case of if this AR headset suddenly, you know, someone turns around and goes, oh, look, here's a military application. Boom. Here's $15 bajillion.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even need to work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah. It's just kind of stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the time, the reason for a product existing is to actually sell it to someone else for them to suddenly realize it's a lemon.
Yes. This makes sense.
Dry? Refreshing?
It's a medium dry, so yeah.
Slightly bitter.
Yeah. I'm going to taste. Do you want to do the super
Very
chat?
well. A super chat. Now I get to do this. Now I get to do the stream.
Feel my pain.
The first bit's easy.
Yep.
Marco Tanaskovic. Yes. I'm going to go with that.
I don't have a better guess.
Fair enough. Thank you for the super chat of 500 RSD.
Yeah.
I don't know what RSD are either.
Well, no. What is RSD?
I don't know. Oh, hold on. Search Google for RSD. Yes, rejection-sensitive dysphoria.
I don't want 500 of those.
Serbian dollars.
Serbian dollar. All right.
There we go. Excellent. Thank you very much for the 500 Serbian dollars.
Hi to all of our viewers in Serbia.
Yes. Need your help.
Try right-clicking somewhere. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Right.
Need your help. X470 board, USB port shut down randomly, no matter BIOS or other tweak. I have 5600X. Is it better to just change the motherboard? Go for B760 and the 13500, 600. No, you won't really see a big boost.
No.
It's sort of 10%-ish region. The cheaper option will absolutely, yes, be going for something like an X570 board because...
I was going to say X470, that was the X470 was the one where AMD were having issues with USB, wasn't it?
There was. There were issues with USB on some of the X470 boards and some of the X570 boards.
Yeah, when you say no matter BIOS or other tweak, have you tried a BIOS update? Like when you say no matter BIOS, do you mean no matter what BIOS version you run? Also, what was when people were having issues with USB, wasn't there a BIOS setting you could change that generally solved or alleviated the issues? I forget.
I don't know specifically, but I know that there was some sort of community comments on stuff like this.
Yeah.
But I don't specifically remember what the comments were.
Yeah.
But it is a case of, certainly from my perspective, if you've already got a built PC with a 5600X, I would just get an X570 board,
Agreed.
which is cheap.
I would just get a different motherboard,
which is the cheap option, because that also allows you to confirm that it's not any other component, and they're still relatively cheap boards. Yeah, apparently there was an option with changing the PCIe mode from Gen 4 or Auto to Gen 3 and disabling global C states. Oh yeah, it was a C state issue. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, there was a C state issue.
Yeah.
So apparently
yeah.
there's.
So there's a couple, you've obviously said that you've tried various BIOSes and settings already, but if you haven't tried those things, try that. Otherwise, I would just say change the motherboard, because X470 is getting on a bit. So you could go to a newer and shinier motherboard that will have more USB and stuff like that. And yeah, like B550 or X570, I think is an upgrade from X470.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Simply because you'll get newer connectivity and just newer BIOS features and better VRMs and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, the 5600X I think is still an entirely viable processor, and I don't think you're going to get more power unless you go up to. You would have to upgrade to Ryzen 7000 or something like an i7 to get a meaningful improvement in performance, I think. Switching to an i5, I think, is going to be just a sidestep that will cost you money. So
yeah, I was going to say, certainly from my perspective, the motherboard is obviously the cheapest option because you're changing the least stuff. And also the fact of, if you do go up to Ryzen 7000 or Intel 12th or 13th gen, you'll basically need to go up to DDR5.
Yeah.
Because it's a complete waste going to an i5 or higher and not being on DDR5.
Yeah. And at that point, we're now talking about basically building a new system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just getting soldering stuff if it's not apparently obvious.
I was just looking for where the actual panel went out the monitor, because people are asking what the panel is.
That's a good question.
Where did you take the 24-inch item?
I don't know.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I don't know where I put it. Here it is. It's here. It's here.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. Guess what? It's not an LG panel. It's a Samsung panel.
Samsung.
I guess the brand is an LTM240CL01.
I see.
Ta-da!
Screenshot.
There you
go. Okay. Everyone hold pose. Hold pose and don't say anything.
It's like the end of the Leslie Nielsen cop show.
Oh yes,
where all the actors would freeze except for one, and then they'd like run off or something. Zoom, enhance. Too close.
There we go.
Whoop. Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. Yes.
Right.
Wee.
I am indeed going to. Wee. I'm just looking at what I can unplug to plug more stuff in.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as Police Squad, That sounds about right.
What the fuck? Oh, there we go.
Why can't I plug in this plug?
Yes. All right.
I was going to say, yeah, the only companies I know of that are making panels still are Samsung, LG, AU or AO Optronics, or Aoptronics. I can't actually remember what
Whoever owns them these days.
Them.
Yeah. Leave that
and I think TLC make their own panels as well. They certainly make their own mini. They make their own mini LED panels.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Very well.
But yeah, as far as my limited knowledge goes, it's a case of basically the only people making OLED, straight OLED, is LG displays. QD OLED is Samsung. Oh, Sony might still make some panels, actually.
Really?
I think so. I think they make certain, like, medical class panels.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think Canon Electronics makes panels. If I think they make their own LCDs for their cameras and stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was going to say presumably for integrated systems, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Canon have just apparently applied for a patent on QD OLED monitors using lead as the quantum dot material.
Yeah.
Which is apparently going to be dramatically cheaper. Apparently the overhead camera is dropping frames.
Yes, I noticed it now and then because I was looking at the preview out the corner of my eye, and now and then it seemed to be a bit like, now it's fine, but just like there's a little stutter here and there. Yeah, every now and then I can see it here and there.
Oh,
can you see that? Yeah.
That went unhappy.
Yeah.
Just unplug it and plug it back in.
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Right, do you want to go to Insta360 link?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, and...
Can I use a preset?
No, because I didn't think to change a preset before doing it. Right, I think you're on that one over there at the moment. Yeah, change to that one, and...
Oh, hold on. Podcast?
Oh, it's not come on. Oh, Hansa, go back to OBS and select, go to Facecam with Bench, and then click on Insta360 and deactivate, reactivate. Right, there we go. Now the camera's on. Right, that has gone to Bench, yeah, and then if you just nudge to the right slightly, I think. Right nudge. Yeah, a bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more. That's probably straight. Considering we're zoomed out, we're zoomed in at the moment anyway, so I don't think it matters.
How do you do the little mini panel thing?
That one, yeah. However,
that's cool.
Yeah, this is really swish, but I've actually found the full interface just feels more responsive. It's resizable. I didn't realize that. Okay, yeah. I want the full panel, but with the preview window not there when the preview is off. However, yeah, I've just found that this one is a bit more responsive because when you have it on the mini panel, every time you click on a button, it's effectively opening up a new window, and that does weird things with multiple monitors. Like you click on the gimbal control, and the gimbal control opens up on another monitor and stuff like that. So it's, you know. So yes. Right, can we make sure that we're actually, like, I know you're exploring software at the moment. Oh, it's still dropping frames, yeah. I'm not dealing with this right now. It's good enough for you guys to see what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm just gonna, it's annoying, but we'll get by for now. So yeah. Right, I'm going to burr. Okay, that's not deafening. Here we go. I'm not going to be able to burr from there. I don't think so.
I'm not going to be able to burr from there.
Yeah. Oh, this might need hot air, actually. Yeah. Oh, that's annoying. Get that first one again. I can clear the data pins, but the actual anchor pins are way too big to get the desoldering gun onto. Right, that's the data pins clear.
And here is the one I modified earlier and put in a switch.
Indeed, it's just a light. It's been a godsend, the light switch. The only annoying thing is I put it on upside down. Like the on-off is correct, but the off is in down and the on is up. So it's just, yeah. But that's not quite annoying enough for me to want to do anything about it. Right, let's see if I can walk this thing out. Oh, it helps if I actually heat up the soldering iron.
Why can't I extract this? Oh, my soldering iron's turned off.
I was holding the tip against there going, wow, that's not doing anything.
Is an A10 flying by.
Do those solder extractors actually work? Yes, when you use them in the right use case. When you have them on a hole that's appropriately sized for the nozzle you've got fitted, they're amazing. But if you're trying to use them on a hole that's too big or too small, then they just don't work very well. So yeah, there's a bit of a knack to using them as well, I've found. But overall, I think they work, yeah. Oh, this guy's rock solid.
It's also a case of, yeah, you have to use them for a fraction longer than you think you need to.
Yes.
That's what caught me out when we were doing the mice.
Yes.
It felt like it was done and clear, but it's actually kind of 1,000th of a second longer than you think it is.
Yeah, you want to linger for a bit longer. There we go. I just brutalized that out. All right. I'm going to turn that back on and use it to clear the holes. Is that the other one? Yeah.
Yes. This is the Taunton Cider Co.
Oh yeah.
First press vintage.
I didn't give my opinion on the Whirly. The Whirly's was nice. It's a very basic cider kind of thing. Like it's cider, but it was very drinkable. You know?
I don't know if I'd specifically use basic. I think I'd use
basic implies
simple.
bad. Yeah. Yeah, simple.
Simple or plain.
Yeah.
Clean.
It was definitely very accessible. Like there was no funky flavor going on. It wasn't like a lot. You know. It was just like, oh yeah, that's just a very nice medium dry cider. Definitely a medium dry. Like it was. You could taste that it was toward the drier end of the scale.
But it was very good on that, and actually
by comparison, this has a very different scent already. You know, just like straight away, I'm like, oh, hello, that's different. You know. Oof, fucking hell. God, that's sharp. Have you tasted this one yet?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that smell.
It's sharp, that is.
It's very reminiscent of something else.
It starts with throat and ends in cutter, but not a fan.
That is less pleasant.
Yeah, I'll drink it, but I wouldn't buy this again. Yeah. I can make it through this.
I would absolutely drink it, but I wouldn't buy it. I think is very much the category for that.
Yeah. Right. Data holes are clear. I'm going to clear the anchor holes.
And look at my action.
Oh, it's a big hole.
Look at my 12-axis gimbal. Whoop.
You laugh, but my holes are clear, and I didn't even need to use wick.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the idea of just describing the abilities of, you know, the human wrist and stuff in the number of axes of.
Oh right, yeah.
Of like CNC. Ah yes, my arms are a 12-axis CNC.
No fuss. I've just put the port in, brand new. Just look at that.
Is it the right height?
Yeah, it's a basic port. Yep. That's why I wanted to.
Imagine that.
That's why I wanted to start with this one because I was looking at the back of it and I'm like, I think that is literally just a basic Type B port. You know, and I have spares of those. I'd say Type B ports. I'm kind of sad that I got into soldering late in the game because, like, when this was a lot more common, this connector, there would have been so many devices that would have been like printers and stuff like that that would have been easily fixable. But then, well, that much being said, printers and a lot of stuff still uses this, but you don't see broken ones very often.
No.
Just broken ones are just not common. They're really easy to repair, so it's a case of I want to see more broken things because it's an easy repair job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't see them very often.
It's kind of the awkward thing with USB, a little bit, is the fact of obviously I've never really had a problem with the Type A port. Never really had a problem with the Type B port. And then we had USB 3, and then we had that abomination of the Type B with the extra bit stacked on it, which was okay. Yeah. But then there was the mini ones and the micro ones, and I was just like, whomever thought this was a good idea, do not. Just no. Got to convert everything to USB micro. Paul? No. No. No.
Well, the issue is not the type. The issue is people making cheap ports. You know, like micro as a design wasn't awful. It was cheap micro ports that were awful.
The problem with it is it only does USB 2.
Okay, sure, yeah, but at the time that was fine.
Oh no, I mean at the time, absolutely fine.
And now Type C is having the same problem. The design of Type C is not awful, but cheap Type C ports are awful. And now everyone is going to complain and be like, "Oh, that bloody Type C, it breaks so easily." I'm like, it's because it's a cheap connector, not because it's a bad design.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think what this is teaching us is that it doesn't matter how much you design the connector, they're going to find a way to min-max the connector so much that it's not good anymore, you know.
Which is to a degree kind of, you know, to go in a completely different direction, why the PCIe 8-pin is so massively low spec and high tolerance is a case of even if you catastrophically underbuild it, the spec massively accounts for that.
Yeah. Just verifying that I'm turning everything off.
Yeah, absolutely, because it was a case of, I can't remember if it was Corsair came out and said something like they rate their 8-pin connectors for 500 watts or something like that. And it's like, understandable.
Get the alcohol and clean that up.
Yeah. I've not actually looked at the Lightning port in sufficient detail to be able to provide commentary on it, other than just...
From a durability perspective, Lightning seems to be pretty good. However, also, Apple are the only people who make it, so they can make good ports.
Yeah. Well, no, they aren't the only one. They're the only one who make ports, aren't they?
Yeah. Think about it.
Are they? Yes, they have to be the only one who makes ports.
I mean, that much being said...
This is going to sound like a really stupid question, but what's the generic term for a thing that goes into a port?
A plug. There are third-party plugs, but Apple are the only people who are making the jacks. I assume though that you can get third-party replacement jacks to replace a busted jack on an iPhone though. But I don't do phone repairs, so I don't know this at all.
A boat. Thank you, Steve. Oh yes, I'm just going to plug my phone into my boat.
Yeah. There we go, that'll do.
Oh dear.
Right, I'm going to start putting this back together again.
Absolutely.
What's the timer on?
The timer is on 56 minutes.
We're making good progress. We're cracking on.
You are making progress.
Yeah.
I am sitting here.
Praise me.
Well done.
Tell me I'm okay. Tell me I'm doing okay.
Absolutely. But see, my only comment or counterpoint to all of the connector thing is I'm just glad that everyone got fanatically on board with no, it must have Type-C. Just so we have a single connector. I don't care that the connector's bad if everything uses it and everything uses exactly the same one. So I can buy a single replacement port in a quantity of 1,000 and replace everything.
That's the problem. They don't use the same one.
No. That's what I'm saying. Getting to is a case of if that was the situation, I wouldn't care if it broke every 500 insertions.
Yeah.
If it was a cheap $1 port that I could buy off of eBay in a box of 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I hate about the whole thing.
Yeah. So kind of that situation. There we go, from Paul. Just from a mechanical perspective, having a single solid insert going into a clear receptacle means we've got less things to go wrong than the whole tongue-in-tongue stuff, like USB-C and micro USB.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, because it is.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. No. I hadn't actually considered the fact that the plugging in bit going into the port also has a tongue on it.
Yeah, I agree. And I haven't seen any broken tongues yet. But obviously, I don't do a lot of port replacements, so I'm not an authority there. You know, the Type-C port replacements that I've done so far have been because the jack's anchors have broken, enabling the port to push into the device and break all the pins off inside. I mean, and that's down to poor anchor design on the connector.
Or just people walking around with their chargers plugged in and falling over.
That as well.
And mashing them into doors.
Yeah. However, and like I agree, people mistreat their electronics because, you know, like everyone bitches and moans about the Apple MagSafe cable. Everyone bitches and moans about it fraying on the end and breaking. I daily drove MacBooks for 15 years, never broke a single one.
I mean, you probably drove the same charger for 10 of those.
Yeah, exactly. So it's okay, you know, people roughhouse their electronics. If you take care of your stuff, it won't break.
I think.
But that much being said, we're talking about the world that should be, not the world that is. While people should take care of their electronics, the fact remains is that they don't, and we need to design to account for that.
There's only so much you can do, because if someone puts 100 kilos of force onto a port...
Yeah. What are you supposed to do? Yeah.
The chassis isn't strong enough for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably is just about incompleteness.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a case of what? You want the port to be more strongly connected than the entire chassis is?
You want to go to the wide shot
again? Yes. I will go to the... Oh, zoom out the camera.
Either or,
is that what you meant?
We don't need to be zoomed in anymore is the main thing.
That one?
Yeah.
I'll go up. There you go. Also, Rick Lakes with the $5. Hello. Thank you for being here and watching us. Whatever happened to the automated door counter?
It didn't get done, or just I never got around to it. The actual the doorbell is still in use. The LiPo.
Have you had to charge it yet?
Yeah. I literally have to charge it like every 6 months or so, and it charges in like 20 minutes. Like,
I thought you put some obnoxiously large, like 2 amp hour
cell on it. Didn't get around to doing that.
I see,
it's still got the 200 milliamp hour cell on it, the tiny little thing.
Because I was going to say it would last 3 years based off of those numbers. Then.
Yeah, well, what is it? The idle discharge or the background discharge?
The quiescent?
Yeah, the quiescent discharge on the LiPo would
self-discharge.
Yeah, the self-discharge on the LiPo would probably be greater than the actual load. However, yeah, it only needs doing every 6 months or so. Like every 6 months or so, I'll go through the door and be like, oh, it didn't go off. And so I'll take it off, plug it into a USB thing, go out to lunch, come back, and it's charged, and I put it up there for another 6 months. But yeah, the automated thing didn't get done. However, it's still on. I still want to do some kind of interesting thing, because also I want a motion sense or a sonic sense door chime, because summer is here and I want to be able to have the front door open.
Yeah.
But I also want an audio cue when someone has walked through the open door. And so I want something that can sense someone walking through the door. So it needs to have like a narrow boundary of detection or something.
Or like the little IR beams.
Yeah, IR beam
like those little things.
Yeah, that would probably work. Something along those lines. I want to do something along those lines. So, but I don't have the time and energy to do the research into it. But I don't know. And like I could put it. I've used the Wemos D1 Mini devices now when I was making my my VR body trackers. So I was thinking, oh, I can use one of those with it, and that now makes it Wi-Fi enabled. I don't know if Teltac is still learning his programming stuff. He was looking into programming these things at some point. So maybe he can make some software for it.
How does that help you with it detecting
there's
through the doorway?
Oh, that was more for the counter type thing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But then also having something that can have a remote chime would also be useful, because that chime is ridiculously loud, but I can't make it any quieter. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear it when I'm in the kitchen.
You need one that's
I
on this wall kind of thing.
I need the chime to be there, basically, because at the moment when someone walks through the door, it goes above their head. They go, oh, fucking hell, Whereas when
I was in there,
Whereas when I'm actually making a coffee in the kitchen, the amount of things, like when the coffee machine rattles slightly, it almost sounds like the phone going off, kind of thing, and I'm just like, oh, no, it's just the machine, So yeah.
The machine spirit.
Indeed. Okay, that's.
Is this hot? Ow!
It's the Big Clive method.
How did I get these scars?
Oh, Big Clive did a teardown on something recently. It was another scam power saver plug thing.
Yeah.
He did a teardown on it, and as he often does, when he unplugged it after demonstrating it, he touched the prongs to be like, have they got a discharge resistor on the internet? He goes, yes, they have, because I haven't got the belt. So immediately he relaxes and lets his guard down.
Oh no!
Because he didn't get a zing off of the prongs. However, due to the way this thing was engineered, the big boy capacitor that was in there is out of circuit when the device is off, but it still did not have a discharge resistor on it. So once he'd taken it apart, when he caught it, he got a belt off it. It was like, jump, and it was just like, oh, I got him, and it was very funny. And it was exceedingly funny because of just the design of this thing was so cataclysmically stupid and it was one of these weirdly over-engineered in a really stupid way for a product that does nothing kind of products. But anyway, yeah. What's occurring, or are you just?
I wasn't sure if this black was a hole.
Oh, I see.
I couldn't tell if it was a hole or just lines.
No, that is silk screened. However, they have not flood filled. There's no flood fill on the inside, so there is decent separation there.
Yeah.
Technically, you should have a cutout around there for additional separation. However, the actual, there's a big enough gap between all of the traces that's good enough, basically. So yeah. But yes, I see what you mean. Normally, I would expect to see an amount of cutout there for additional separation, but I guess they figured that was overkill. They clearly weren't short of space on this board. So, right, where's the panel?
Over there.
Okay.
Where you put it.
You were the last person holding it, so now it's where you put it.
And I returned it to the location you collected it from.
Very well.
I was semi-sensible. Lines of separation. What's wrong with lines of separation, JD?
Yeah. Lines, for context...
we are actually on the correct camera.
Yeah.
I suddenly thought we were just
right.
on the face cam.
Yeah.
It was just like, yes.
For context, this is a power supply, so we've got a high voltage section and a low voltage section. And obviously you want a very large amount of separation, because otherwise high voltage could try and jump the gap from the high voltage section into the low voltage section, which would be very bad. So there is a large gap. Like, you'll notice that typically on a circuit board, like if you look on this one, anywhere everything is flood filled, like you can see a dark spot there where there's a separated section, but everything else, all of the light areas, is all flood filled with just copper sheet. Whereas over here in the high voltage section, they haven't flood filled it. this is to make sure that the high voltage can't jump across anywhere. And so normally where this black line is, you would expect to be a physical cutout in the circuit board, because then it can't creep across the surface of the board. It would actually have to jump across through air, which would be massive separation. However, I assume that they've decided that that gap is big enough that there's no meaningful danger. And the test for that, I can't remember what the technical name for the test is, but you would actually connect up a like a 2,000 or 4,000 volt static discharge machine that would put a spike of 2,000 or 4,000 volts into that, and that must not be able to spark across the gap in order for it to be safe. So if the device gets struck by lightning or something like that, we can be reasonably assured that it cannot jump the gap and then suddenly shock a user who might be holding on to the low voltage end or something like that. Yeah. So yeah. Cutout section on the data board is for signal isolation. Yeah, that will be a signal. There's going to be a clock gen or something like that there, or something that's sensitive.
Yeah.
So yeah. Right. Okay, that's going to go like that. So I can just put that down. Yep. Right, I'm slowing down. Got to reassemble.
Oh yes, I was looking at that and I was like, how did you know it was that way around? And then I realised there was literally only one end that had the connector.
Indeed. However, that's why I did a quick sanity check there, because obviously I was holding it one way and then I knew I was going to flip it over.
What is three-dimensional space?
Yeah, also, what is this connector? Hello? Okay, I've got one end going in. Is that just...
this?
Oh, it's just stiffer than it looks. Okay, there we go.
So that... Oh, I see. Oh, this is power for the screen.
Yeah, this is the backlight power.
And then that is purely the image.
Yeah, that's backlight, that's image, yeah. Okay. So on a laptop, it would all go across the one cable, and typically on a modern laptop with an EDP screen, you would have the laptop's main power rail, so typically between battery voltage and 19 volts, depending on the kind of power architecture it uses, goes through the EDP lead, and the power supply for the backlight would be built into the panel's control board. Right. However, on big boy stuff like this, they'll have all the power circuitry, to drive the LED arrays, which are probably running at like 50 volts or something like that, because they'll have LEDs all in series. That's part of the actual power board, the actual power supply section of this. So yeah. So
I'm kind of looking at that and going, why is it such a big power supply when that's all that the output is, kind of thing? Because it's just like, it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. And
I wonder if this is a standard unit for like the 20, 22, 24 and 30.
Possibly, yeah. Also though, miniaturization is expensive.
Yeah.
If you can make it big, then it's cheaper. So yeah, and that would be my guess. It is possible to miniaturize. Like, it's very interesting because the iMac, and I can actually demonstrate this. I'm going to move this to one side. The iMac has the power supply built into it. It's all on the other side of the board. However, the iMac, there's the EDP port for the iMac's display. Oh, this is not in. That's exceedingly convenient.
Snap.
This is a dead iMac, so,
It is now.
This is why I don't like taking logic boards out of iMacs. As you can see over here, we actually have a power supply to the panel backlight here, and there's the connector for it. But what's interesting is you can see we've got this massive, honking, huge inductor that is enormous because it's doing a massive voltage output. This is I believe this is a 12-volt input. This whole board is 12 volt, so this is a massive DC-DC boost converter to run that. So yeah. So that's kind of interesting because that is essentially a backlight power supply in that space, fundamentally. So yeah, that's all the output. That's That's probably the controller chip for it right there, actually. So yeah, essentially half the stuff that big power board is doing is contained within there on this particular thing. But it's also one of the reasons why Macs are expensive, because they have miniaturized that into that space.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there's an argument to be made as to whether they needed to miniaturize it into that space or not. However, this is one of the things that makes a Mac expensive. There's often a reason for the expense. I'm not dealing with that. There's often a reason for a lot of the expense in a Mac. The bigger question is, did it need to be like that? And that's where a lot of my complaints come in. I'm like, I understand that the implementation they've done is expensive, but my complaint is that it didn't need to be that complex.
Yeah, that there is obviously that comment of there's always a balance.
Yeah.
Because if we said, oh, well, we don't need to miniaturize laptops, we'd still have laptops that were the size of the ones in the early 90s that were a briefcase and ran for 12 minutes.
Sure, yeah.
So it's kind of, I get both.
Yeah, yeah.
But sometimes you look at stuff and you're just like, this was unnecessary. How does that actually attach?
This is kind of awkward because it doesn't attach to the panel. It was taped on.
Then how?
So I actually need to flip this over and hope it all doesn't fall out of alignment.
Do you not want to put that to that?
I think that's probably the better way forward, actually, yeah.
And also plug and do it from this side because you need to plug in the USBs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to do that. Right. And I've got to put in the front panel controls as well, but I'll slip those in at the last minute. I'm just going to get everything else vaguely in position first.
Oh, that holds on because it's effectively
that bolts through from the back as well, yeah.
Oh, I see. That's how that actually stays in place.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that means that I can actually put these in here to hold it in place.
Yeah.
These guys, this will fall loose when I take these bolts out to arm mount it again. However, for the time being, I can do that, and that holds that in place. However, that also means now that I can't lift that up, so actually I'm not going to do that, but hypothetically. I think the reassembling face down is the way... but then I've got to... My God, I've just remembered how much of a ball ache these things are to reassemble.
Do you want to clean the panel off whilst you've got the front bezel off?
That's a good idea, actually. It'll be a bit easier. Right.
Do the laptop thing.
Going for the flip. Whoop. Right. Yep.
Thin wobbly plastic. So yes, the fault on this one was the USB port was the input
uplink port.
The uplink port. That's the word. The uplink USB port was probably almost definitely faulty.
Yeah, it was throwing up an error when you plugged it in, and in history, every time the cable was wobbled slightly, Windows would give the do-do-do noise, implying that there is a poor connection there. Yeah. So I believe that the port is at fault, not the controller. If this doesn't work when we plug it all back in again, it will mean that the controller is balked on it, and in which case I will just give up and not use the USB hub on this monitor. But because this is one of the Workbench monitors, and the Workbench has a lot of USB plugged into it, it's very convenient to have monitor USB ports. That'll do. It's pretty good without sanitizing anyway. All right. So the bottom is facing away from me. So that's going to go there. Yep. And oh God, this goes. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I hate it. It goes all the way to the other side. Why is your monitor bad, Caradog?
Why are you looking a gift horse in the mouth?
I'll lay that down. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I'm going to do this. Right, firstly, those screws need to come back out. We've got more monitors to fix, by the way, so if you feel like you're arriving too late, don't worry. There will be more. Okay, right, so I'm going to... That's... This is now the right way up, so that's now going to be like that.
Is it? Yes, it is.
Right. So
do you want me to lift the panel?
Would be like that. And that... you guys can't see anything, however. This is just the way it's got to be. That is going to do... This will make... Hang on a sec. I'm just going to plug this in and it will make sense in a moment. Thank you.
It will?
Yeah. Right. Plug that in. Then that comes across like that. If in doubt, just run the ribbon cables where you can see that they were previously running, and it has to fit back in somehow. Okay, right. Now I'm going to lower this back down. And lift the whole thing up like that.
The cable is caught.
Yeah, it's not pinched. So, there we go. And now I've just got to center it up. Okay, so now we just have an excess that I need to feed back in. Whew. However, I can just lever this up now and just feed that excess around the back of the panel.
Oh, did you get a Pine-Sol V2?
Yes. Yep.
What is the difference?
I haven't really used it in a way that demonstrates its differences very much.
Okay, but what are they?
Okay, so firstly, it is compatible with the new short tips. Let me quickly grab one. So the Pine-Sol V2, which is recognizable because it has the green band on it. This guy comes with the newer short boy tips, so you can see that these tips are noticeably shorter, which puts you a lot closer, so it increases your accuracy. Because obviously, if you're holding something, imagine I'm holding it all the way back here, it's harder to be accurate at that range. The closer you can get to the action, the easier it is to hold it steady. So shorter tip equals easier to hold it steady.
Does it also mean there's better heat transfer?
Don't think it makes a difference because the actual element is in the tip.
Okay.
So that theoretically shouldn't make a difference. However, these tips are also up to... Yeah, these tips are up to 88 watts as opposed to 65 watts. Yeah. So they're higher power tips as well. So it's got more power closer to the action. However, this is the only short boy. This is the one that came with it, and this is the only one that I've got.
Yeah.
And because I usually use precision tips, not just this conical boy, I didn't have the option to select it at the time when I purchased it.
Yeah.
I don't have a useful 88 watt tip yet.
Yeah.
So I've not actually used it in a way that's useful. So so yeah. So I have no opinion. If you have a Pine-Sol 1, I wouldn't be rushing to upgrade. But you know, obviously, if you're buying a Pine-Sol, then you know if you can get the new one, then so much the better. But yeah, as I say, it hasn't changed my world yet, purely because I don't have the appropriate tips in order to use its additional functionality. So
yeah, so it's a case of you need a set of new tips to actually be able to
pretty much, yeah. And like, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna start trying to accumulate.
Yeah. So as you replace them, you're gonna get them in the shorter, upgraded version.
Yeah.
So is there a special name for the shorter ones?
I'm not sure, actually.
Just because I thought kind of the name of the other style was basically the mini-wear style.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the same. They are cross-compatible. They have the same. The actual connector bit here is the same, so they are backwards compatible. So likewise, like this is a mini-wear tip I've got here. This is a mini-wear TSKU that I've got fitted. So those will still fit. So there is stuff that will still go in there, but I don't know the name of that connector.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah. Oh, this panel is not sitting right. I think I'm going to have to ease it out just to get it to move.
Say, I'm just going to shake it violently.
Well, I tried that and it didn't want to move, so...
Yeah. But no, it's kind of as we were describing to a little degree the issue with Pine Sol stuff earlier. It's kind of the thing of, if it's in stock, great. But the problem is it often isn't.
Yeah, that's right. Although I haven't looked at the European store in a while to see how that's doing. Oh wow, that's not remotely straight. No wonder it won't sit right. What the hell? Oh, there we go. That just did the jolt that I was looking for. So yes.
Ah, excellent. Thank you, Donkey Kong, for the 50 Donkey Kong Kongs.
Is that intentional? I'm not sure. Is that Danish krone, did we decide?
I can't remember. I think so.
I wish YouTube would actually just name the currency, because I don't know.
Danish krone.
Yes, good.
Frigid.
Caradog crashing through every window open to find the right ones. Much appreciated, dude. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I've put so many fingerprints on this panel after cleaning it.
Yeah, but you've also taken off all of the schmutz and smear.
Yeah, this is true, yeah.
It is now far less to clean.
Yeah.
It is intentional. Fantastic. Thank you, DK. You are also the Drift King.
Yes. Oh no. I'd forgotten in Tokyo Drift they actually call him DK, don't they? Oh god. I like Tokyo Drift. I'd just forgotten that part of it. I think Tokyo Drift is actually a good film about a dude growing up kind of thing. Complete tangent there, you know.
I'm still just kind of the opinion that I'm just like, can we stop, please? Can we have no more of these films?
Oh yes, Fast and Furious needs to stop.
I haven't watched since Tokyo Drift.
Yeah,
but I'm just like, can we please stop, please?
Yeah, it is not a question of who will let them, but who will stop them, and someone needs to stop them.
Yeah,
you know.
Apparently, the final.
Someone needs to stop Vin Diesel. You
apparently, this film is the final film. This one, but it's going to be a 3-part story.
Oh no! It should have ended when Paul Walker died.
They should have released the film that he was doing the filming for, and then that was it.
Yes, precisely. Yeah,
arguably, maybe they should have had his character die in that film, and that makes them all go, "We're not doing this anymore."
Yeah,
family's too important, or whatever.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yep. Family. What happened to?
It is in your glass.
Yep.
That's why I drained my glass before I put it over there, so you could not be confused.
I know everything about my father. Are you aware of this meme?
What? Did you just have a stroke?
In Fast and Furious 1, when Toretto is talking to Brian Spillner, as he is at the time, and he shows him the muscle car, the black muscle car.
Oh right.
For the first time, he's in the garage, and he's talking about his dad. And there's a moment where because I think what's Paul Walker's character's name? Because Brian was a cover name.
I don't actually
I can't remember. I'll call him Brian for now. But Brian is just like, oh, I didn't know my dad. And Dominic Toretto, he turns around and he says, I knew everything about my father. You know, we had a good relationship. But because it's Vin Diesel, he goes, I know everything about my father. And when you hear it, that's exactly what it sounds like. That's literally what it sounds like. So, and yeah, it's just, go back and watch that moment in the film and you'll see what I mean. Yeah, that's literally what he sounds like. And you're like, what? You know? So,
there are occasions in films where you're just like, how was this the best take of this line?
Yes. Vin Diesel, I love you, but please retire.
I am mildly impressed that he's actually in films.
Yeah, like
at all.
Yeah,
because I'm just like I don't know what your USP is at all.
I don't know how he got started because, like, well, I mean, his big break was Pitch Black. Have you seen Pitch Black? That was
no, because immediately I went, yes, the a cappella singing film. So no, wait, that's Pitch Perfect. Never mind.
Yeah, Pitch Black was the first Riddick movie, and it was not a Riddick movie. It was just a horror. It was a horror movie that had Riddick as a character in it, and then the films that came after that were The Chronicles of Riddick.
I'm going to be entirely honest and say, I know I have seen the films, but I believe I have expunged them from my memory.
Yes, Chronicles of Riddick. They're stupid action movies, and like if you are entertained by stupid action movies, which I am personally, I like a good action flick. I'd watch a Pitch Black crossover. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, Pitch Black it's kind of a very interesting film. It's actually a good movie in my opinion. It's a very underrated film, I think. You know, like it's not like allowing when you consider the circumstances of its creation. But then Vin Diesel basically just fell in love with the character of Riddick and was just like, I want to make more movies about this character, kind of thing. But the thing is, like by that point, he would kind of become Vin Diesel as we know him as Vin Diesel. And I'm like, did he make that much money on Pitch Black, or was he in other stuff? Because my understanding was that Pitch Black was his big break. So, like, yeah, what else did he do after that? I don't know. So, yeah. What else has Vin Diesel done except Pitch Black, the Riddick movies, and Fast and Furious? This is the question. I'm going to turn this monitor on and see if I've actually successfully fixed it, because we got off to a really quick start, and then we ground to a halt, as is my wont.
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, XXX.
Oh yeah, XXX, yeah, he did that, yeah. I mean, Guardians doesn't count because that's modern kind of thing. Like, he was already hyper famous by that point. I'm kind of like, obviously, we know that the Fast and Furious movies get made because Vin Diesel wills it to be. So therefore, how did Vin Diesel get to the point of having that kind of clout? That's kind of what I'm implying.
He's apparently only got 25 credits. Which is surprising.
Yeah, obviously 11 of them being Fast and Furious movies, I guess. What?
He was he was first listed as a producer.
Yeah, executive producer, yeah.
Oh, that's his producer listings. Right, that makes more sense. There we go, his actor listings. There we go. How do I IMDb?
Awakenings, Kawame, I see. Multifacial, Strays, Saving... Oh yeah, he was in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah. The Iron Giant, he was the voice of the Iron Giant.
Oh, was he? I didn't realise that.
Boiler Room. Into Pitch Black.
Yeah. And then we've got Pitch Black. What's Into Pitch Black,
a TV movie.
Yeah. What's that?
Wow. And then literally a year later, The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
After the events of Pitch Black, a contractor is hired to locate Riddick, dead or alive. He reviews available information on him and the events of Pitch Black. Terrified, he hires a female cyberpunk merc to do the job for him. Very well.
Yeah, like, again, that at that point, that would have been Vin Diesel being like, I want to make more regarding this.
Yeah. I like the fact, you can always tell how good one of these films you've never heard of is, or like how popular it was, by how many of the people who are involved in the film have pictures on IMDb at all. When you have 4 or 5 people out of 25 have pictures and no one else, you're just like, yes, very well.
Right, does this monitor still work? It's unplugged. For a moment, I was like, it's stone dead. How has that happened from changing a USB port? However, no, it's not plugged in.
There is no power. I must power.
All right. No! Okay, it says USB device not recognized. I'm not saying that we've wasted the past hour and a half of our lives, but we've wasted the past hour and a half of our lives.
Whoops. Oh well.
Well, thanks for coming, everyone. No, we'll look at something else now. However, yeah, it's the controller then. The controller's buggered on it.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah, that's very annoying. I was like, yeah, I was positive because, like I say, the way it was wobbling the cable would elicit a response from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just assumed that it must just be a worn-out port. However, we have replaced the port, and yeah. Oh well, that's a bummer. Oh, I'm sad about that because yeah, that would have been a nice. There we go. We fixed a thing today. Sad.
Do you need to take the DVI to HDMI off the back of it?
Oh yes, because I
before you misplaced that.
Yeah, I use these on display ports. So, right, I'll put this over here. All right, are we going to butcher something else now? Right, I'll bring over a couple of your screens. Are we going to go for the broken panel one? That seems to be the easiest one.
I mean, that's what we're going to fix. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that one.
Yes, I will plug this into power and demonstrate the issue with it.
And then we need to...
There is a problem. There you go. There is issue.
Yeah. All right.
So yes.
Right, so we've got 3 of these screens. One of them's got a broken panel. One of them has a dodgy backlight that flickers.
Yeah,
or kind of the third one?
Flashes, pulses.
Yeah.
And then one of them was in the pile of faulty monitors, but I don't actually recall what's wrong with it.
Yeah, so we need to identify which one of these is the unknown.
Okay, at least from that, because the Dell thing came out fine.
Okay.
So this one might be okay.
Let's leave that for 5 minutes, shall we?
We'll leave that one. Oh, I was just going to unplug this, plug the other one in and see what that one is.
Yeah, because if this one flickers straight away, then we know that that's the...
Yeah, I think that this one is probably the one that flickers, just judging by the schmutz on the screen. It was the one that was actually in service.
Mm.
So yeah, but we might need to actually get a desktop image up.
I would wager that it's going to need to warm up before it actually starts.
Yeah, just because this one is dusty but not dirty.
Okay, I'll tell you what, then
this one is dirty and not dusty.
I'll plug in the HDMI.
Yeah.
I'll assume that it does it on HDMI as well as DisplayPort, because obviously you guys were using these on DisplayPort.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Am I going to get a DisplayPort? Oh, I don't have a. I do have a mini DisplayPort.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can get a DisplayPort.
Full-size DisplayPort and mini DisplayPort, and there is a mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort, which is the white one in that box, I think.
I have. Let me see. What have we got?
And there also should be somewhere a mini DisplayPort to DVI cable.
We got lots of DVI to DisplayPort.
Yes.
I'm not sure why.
Because I was testing things on those Dell 3011s.
Oh, right. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. What are you? I think the only thing we've got that's possibly reliable is just big DisplayPort to big DisplayPort, but I don't think so. Given that I don't have a mini DisplayPort to HDMI or DisplayPort on hand right now, I think we may as well leave the HDMI plugged in, because I don't we can't do the exact setup you use, so there's no point in changing the setup.
Yeah.
So yeah, we may as well just tell it to use the HDMI.
Stupid. Actually detect that I'm pressing the buttons. Why won't you any of these? Come on.
Huh.
Any of them? I require the changing of the source.
Hang on a minute.
What?
Power one response.
What?
Whatever. Whatever.
Was it that one? Yeah, it was that one. There you go.
All right. Swap places again.
Sure. As you wish.
All right. We will now make light while we stare at this picture for the next 5 minutes to see if it goes wrong. That wasn't the screen going wrong. That was the thing. There we go.
User.
There we go. All right.
Good. So what other tech news have we got? What else has happened in the world?
Let's see. Dunno. There's loads of product videos coming out at the moment because
because it's Computex.
Yeah, because Computex is on.
Yes.
Most of them I don't really care about, to be quite frank. There's nothing. I haven't really seen anything coming out of Compute. Like, don't get me wrong. There's new products and stuff, but there's nothing that's maybe go wow kind of thing. So I'm just like, fine, you know.
The things I'm interested in from that have been mostly just the sponsor spots about Thermal Grizzly stuff.
I see.
Just because Thermal Grizzly have got a new carbon sheet. I've forgotten quite the full words of it. The thermal interface sheets.
Right, yeah.
They've got a new one of those which is rotated 180 degrees. So instead of it being 2D planar heat transfer, spreading it, it's heat transfer away.
Oh, interesting.
Because graphene sheets or the carbon nanotube sheets only transfer in one plane.
Yeah.
They are not.
Yeah, if you think about the grain of the material, they've changed it so the grain of the material is going vertically instead of along.
And apparently the way they do that is by laying these 0.2 micron sheets on top of each other, making big stacks of them, rotating the stacks, and then cutting them to 0.2 micron.
Bloody hell. Sounds expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of like, interesting. Those sound cool. Yeah, and they're about, I think the large sheet, which was something like 50 by 50 millimeters, was something like $35. Which is kind of a lot, but it's also a case of for like a zero maintenance application where it's going to be in service for 15 years.
Yeah. If you're going to keep using it over, if you use it again and again, sure. I think the other pivoting factor is whether it is reliable and better than paste, because my understanding is that previous graphene pads were not quite as good as paste. So it was a case of the only way they made sense were for parts testing, where you didn't need maximum thermal performance, but you were swapping out a lot of CPUs, for example. So you needed to burn test the CPU, but you didn't need it to be as cool as possible. But you were changing the CPU out so often, Whereas obviously, like if you're doing overclocking or thermal testing, you need the best possible temperatures. So you would use paste anyway because it's better. However, again, if you were parts testing, that's suddenly where they kind of make sense.
Yeah, it was also a case of just obviously it doesn't dry out or pump out. So it's a case of obviously where it's less relevant to the sort of the DIY end user situation, but it is a case of obviously if you've got long service life stuff, so it's installed in situ for 15 years, you don't have to do anything to it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pump the brightness up to max. I think we might need to plug the other one in and see if it falls over after 2 minutes or something. I think really for a proper test, you need to leave it plugged in for like half an hour, because it'll take half an hour for the electronics to actually reach full temperature.
But it was
because that's the point where it would start where it's likely to go wrong. So I saw something. Oh yeah, someone said something about new Corsair fans. I have not spotted those.
I've seen, yeah, I haven't seen anything about them either.
Look up the new Corsair fans. I'm curious as to what they have, so I can.
Yeah,
I want to either say that looks cool, or I want to say that looks really stupid and mock it. I like how I unplugged the screen and it gave the new device detected chime.
Are they listed on here? Ah, this is just a product page.
Yeah, might need to look at. Might need to bring up YouTube or bring up the Corsair YouTube page, maybe.
Ah, meet our new QX RGB fans.
Oh yeah, I don't recognise that.
This was a video uploaded 3 days ago, so yes.
Okay. And it's vertical video. Oh, it's 46 seconds long. Okay, it's a YouTube short. Fair enough.
Yes. Oh, I see.
Oh, they're connectable fans.
Ah,
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just because that's what everyone is doing these days, and it's a good idea.
Not bad.
Yeah, it massively.
That looks kind of cool.
It massively reduces cable clutter. Yeah, I'm on board for that.
Ah,
what's that? Might have to listen to that. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Look. Yeah, that looks interesting.
Cool.
I don't hate it. Yeah.
However, I will as soon as I find the price.
Yes.
Sure.
Temperature sensor that you can utilize to change fan speeds.
Oh, temperature sensor. So that whoa, interesting. I guess that comes in through iCUE.
I guess.
Yeah, because it's not going to have a USB connection, so it's going to come in through iCUE. Yeah. Make sure that's at maximum brightness, just to push it as hard as possible.
Oh, and MSI, you know the stationary wheel hubs that cars had in the early 2000s.
Oh,
they did that for fans.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I played Need for Speed Underground 2, and spinners are stupid. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
But yeah. Oh yeah, motherboards with connectors on the reverse, which I like as a concept. Yeah. And slightly from one side, I'm just kind of like, I'm amazed that we ever did it the way around that we do it currently. But also, okay, so I'm like, it makes it so much easier to build, especially when cases where, obviously shroudless and stuff.
Exactly. It was a while back now, but a while back, one of the more popular videos I did was when I rebuilt Andy ACS's computer. And he's got an old, and I think it was an Antec 300.
Yeah.
And an old Antec case in general. So we were rebuilding it in that case. Yeah. And that case is from the mid-noughties. It has no cable management in it at all.
Yeah.
And it was a shock going back to a case that had so little design to it. It was just a tin box. And I'm like, this is Antec. It was a premium brand back in those days. And yeah, so you couldn't have done any kind of fancy cable tidying with that. Even a advanced case for that era, which would be something like my Cooler Master ATCS, even that that had a removable motherboard tray, would not have been able to adapt to having, like reverse connections or something like that. But yeah, these days you could engineer that in. So yeah, I'm tempted to say I think 90-degree, like EVGA style, is probably more practical as a stepping stone, because having a 90-degree connector will be compatible with basically all current cases. Whereas if you have a connector on the back of the board, the case needs to have a cutout for that now.
Yeah,
which means you need a case that's compatible with it.
I know that MSI said that all of their cases that have released or are releasing this year will be compatible with it, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So obviously MSI and MSI motherboards with the reverse connectors, they'll all be compatible.
Sure.
So that's at least something.
Yeah, for the 10 people out there that buy MSI cases.
Yeah.
But at least they're making cases that are compatible with their product, so, sure,
yeah,
okay.
They've actually considered the possibility that they need to be compatible with themselves. So yeah. I thought that was quite interesting. Just kind of as a design thing, and it might have been Asus did something with the power for the graphics card coming through the motherboard.
Oh yes, I saw a picture of that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I assume that has been engineered in a way that makes sense. But because obviously, you know, if you're going to power your graphics card from the motherboard, then the motherboard needs to have a 600, you know, a 400 to 600 watt power rail in it somehow.
If I remember correctly, on the back of the board they had 3 8-pin and one Minifit 12.
Fair enough. And then presumably that just has a separate. That presumably then just has a separate channel that just goes straight to that connector, because why would you do it any other way?
Yeah.
But yeah, past that, yeah, I approve of that because yeah, it makes sense. Apple were doing it years ago, and it was one of those innovations that Apple had done years ago for the ADC connector. That every time I saw it, I'd be like, why didn't this catch on? This was a great idea. Although they were doing it for other reasons.
Was the DVI that did 5,000 volts or whatever it was?
It was a DVI connector that could power a CRT monitor.
Hence 5,000 volts.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think it was 50 volts or something like that. Presumably, the monitors just had a massive step-up converter in it or something. I don't know what a CRT actually runs on, because like your actual. Well, no, you need an AC flyback converter. I'm not going to get into the electronics engineering for that. I'd have to think about it. The point is, a long time ago, Apple had graphics cards that had the Apple Display connector on it, which was a DVI connector with rounded ends on it, and it had 2 additional spades in it that would power a connected CRT monitor or LCD monitors as well. No, actually, I don't think it ever powered this CRT.
I was going to say, I'd be amazed if it could do a CRT.
Yeah, no.
But
there was an ADC CRT with a crystal clear case on it. I've seen one in real life for once. It's a beautiful monitor. However, it was mains powered. However, the Cinema LCD displays were powered off the cable.
Yeah, I had
because that you can do on like 50 volts. Yeah,
I have one of those.
So yes. So yeah, and again, in order to achieve that, the card, which was a PCI Express, no, it was an AGP card, I think. It was an AGP card, had an extra spade connector next to the AGP slot that carried the power. So yeah, it's been done before, and every time I've seen one of those, I'm like, this was a great idea. You could power a high power card with this, and just no one else ever did it.
I think part of the issue is just that obviously none of the motherboard manufacturers had sufficient GPU presence.
Yeah.
And none of the GPU manufacturers had enough motherboard presence.
Yeah.
So it'd require the 2 companies working together for a product for multiple generations.
And at the time when those were present, oh yeah, no, AGP cards had Molex power to them. So yeah, AGP cards were using external power at that point. So yeah, that makes sense. For a moment, I was going to say I think all your graphics cards were still bus powered anyway. However, no, I remember because this is 2000. This is 99, 2000, 2001 kind of era. So we're talking Athlon XP era, where we were running AGP 8 times and. Yeah, I forget what graphics card I would have had at the time, but I had an ATI graphic. I had an ATI Radeon that had 4-pin Molex power to it. Because that's when I was in my UV phase, when everything was UV. So yeah.
Did it make all of your?
Jesus, that monitor's fixed. Amazing repair. I did it. Yep, best repair channel on YouTube, everyone. Sorry, carry on.
I said, did it make all of your plastics brittle?
I don't recall it. I don't recall that happening.
Fair enough.
So no.
So I just remember someone saying about that.
Yeah. I mean, they might have been assuming that we had like UVB/UVC death ray cathode tubes in there. I'm like, no, it was UVA. What's wrong with you? You could look at these with the naked eye, you know. So yes.
I'm just going to look in my computer and see what's going. Ah!
Yeah. That one SpongeBob picture of the dude going, my eyes, you know.
Why does your PC smell of ozone?
Yeah. Oh no. What's the plan? What are we doing? These monitors need to be left on for a period of time to wait for one of them to fall over. Because the problem is we need to know which one is bad so we can steal the panel from it to fix the broken panel one. But we don't know which one is bad. So, or we could leave it on in chat for a bit longer, or
I mean, what we're going to end up with if we take the one out of that one and stick it in that one, we're probably going to end up in a better position than we are presently in.
Yeah. Also, let us that was screensaver kicking in just then. Yeah. Okay. Let's consider the fact. Okay, so let's consider this carefully. One of these monitors has a bad backlight, and because the backlight will be powered off of the power board, it's probably reasonable to assume that it's a power board fault, not a panel fault. Therefore, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which good panel we use. Both of the panels should be good, so we can fix the one with the smashed panel. And then that still leaves us with an unknown that one of the monitors has a bad power board in it. So we just have to roll the dice, basically.
Yeah, I would use that one just because I think that's the one that was actually in use.
Yeah.
Just because this one doesn't have signs of use, it's just got dust on it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we're going to take that one apart, take the panel out of it, and put it in the one with the smashed panel.
Yeah.
We'll look at the smashed panel one first because we need to figure out how to take these ones apart.
Yeah. And the other thing is as well.
And I'm a bit scared of these.
We can put the smashed panel in that one anyway, and we can, I presume, by the end of it, prove whether that power board's faulty or not, effectively in the long run, if we cared.
Yes.
Because the display will still backlight.
Yeah.
Even though it's smashed.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Right. So we got to figure out how to take this thing apart. Why not just swap the power board over? Well, the reason why is I'm fairly certain that the panel will come out of this before the board does. So we need to take the panel out in order to disassemble the monitor. Therefore, it is easier to swap the panels than it is to swap the power boards. So it makes no difference. So I'm going to have a quick sneak peek under here. Could you just bring up OBS so I've got a live preview?
Oops. Oh, yes.
So, yeah. These two bits on the bottom here are for attaching a sound bar. I just want to check if there's any screws there. There are not. Swapping the power board is easier, but I have to take the panel out in order to get the power board out.
Yeah, presuming it comes apart that way.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm 99% certain that in order to get into these ones, I need to remove the chin bar and then pop the panel out. That's how I'm going to approach this anyway. So here goes nothing. Right, one more time. This is the one with the broken panel. Yes, good. So we can be rough with this one. Come on. There we go. Yep, that's going. Ugh. Come on. Oh, it's tough.
I was going to say, it's one of those things where it's just like, the level of force required.
Oof, that feels wrong. That feels really wrong. What's holding me up there? I mean, obviously it's a clip, but it's a clip that doesn't want to go. Oh, how is that holding on? Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go somewhere else.
If you take this off, can you see that way?
I'll have another double check just in case. Yeah. Have you ever attempted blind disassembly like this and completely balked the item in the process? I've not balked something beyond... Oh, hold on. I think you're right, actually, Caradog. I've never broken something beyond recovery. I've certainly... I've snapped a couple of clips and been like, whoops, that was supposed to come apart in a different way, but it's gone back together good enough. Right, there's a little thing here, and I think if I press that down... Nope. Oh my God. Oh, it's horrible. I don't know. No, I'm letting go. Right, when you get stuck, just go somewhere else on the product. What's worse than fumbling with something?
Watching someone else fumble?
Yeah. Oh, freaking hell. This feels like it's got screws holding it in, but there's no external screws on this product. Oh. Right, how are these other clips holding in?
Because if you twist the case like that, you can get a gap to form between this bit and that bit.
Okay, you know what? Let's just entertain that idea, and let's just see if I can get in around the back.
So yeah, applying a twist on the case does mean that can separate slightly, but I can't.
Yeah, I cannot get my prying tool into that at all. And if I can't force a metal prying tool in there, that ain't coming apart. Is my rule. I'm 99% certain that this is the way in, but just these clips are incredibly rude.
Which ones are these? Are these the 2415s? Yeah, 2415s. I'm going to cheat.
You can look up a disassembly guide or something.
With half the letters missing, yes.
Oh, God, what is holding that thing on? I'm very proficient with doing this kind of thing. So when I'm struggling with something, you know, I'm doing something wrong or it's that difficult. Right.
What?
We've got a video
slid
up.
it? It slides? They undid some screws.
He took the VESA mounting screws out the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on. What? He's thinking. He pries the bottom off.
The black off of the gunmetal.
There is a gap there. What, this bit comes up? No,
from the back, he's going in between the
I
back.
see it. I see
and
it.
there into this bit.
If you say so. Oh yeah. Oh no, there we go. Yep, there we go. There is a gap. Yep. All right. Yep. Around the top, I could not find a gap there. However, at the bottom, there is a gap.
Huh.
Yep. All right. Yep. That makes more sense because, like, that chin bar, I was like, that chin bar did not want to let go.
Yeah.
Okay, this is also really horrifying. I'm going to get some more prying tools. God, this is not an easy one.
Yeah, no, there's no screws behind that label. It's also a case of the plastic was flexing separately to the metal beneath it, which I wouldn't expect personally if there was a screw in there.
Okay.
Attack violently. I thought that was you suddenly realizing that the prying tool had just slipped inside.
Bloody hell. Even now I feel like I'm brutalizing it. Do you want to just keep that video playing just so we can make sure that he doesn't do all of this only to discover that it's the wrong way in? You know? And then he suddenly goes, actually, that's not the way to do it. Ah, my days.
Oh, it ends up unclipping and then the top lifts off?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm making progress now. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's wiggling that around.
Oh, okay. I'm getting some big clicks now.
And then... Oh, God, he's using a bloody screwdriver to do this as well.
Oh, my God. What is this, a demon core?
Yeah, and then that just lifts straight off.
Okay. Little click on 4, and we dropped into a nice falsetto.
And then it all goes wrong, and you suddenly realise, actually, you're in a falsetto.
God. John, fuck you fucking guys, I'm gonna...
What are these noises? Are these the noises that get cut out when you speed up?
Yes, legitimately, because sometimes you get to the point where you're like, no, this is coming off now. This is how this is opening. This is how this is happening. Open. I'm not asking anymore. A lot of people say sort of, oh, you shouldn't use metal tools. You should use plastic tools. Anyone who says that clearly doesn't do this for a living. Because, yeah, amateurs use plastic tools and break at 10 a day. Professionals use metal tools because they don't ask, you know?
There we go. That just sent a whole bunch of clips releasing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Okay, there we go. We're cruising now.
That's awful.
Ugh. I'm taking a drink now.
Hey, there's a screw in this one. There's 3 screws in this one.
Yes, there is. Also, I'm just going to click. Oh, actually, we won't touch the chin strap in case that needs to come down. But there are some screws here along the bottom. These are probably holding the chin strap on.
Given that we're on this side, it is just easy just to take this off.
Yes, this is very much a no. For the wrong reason, Ravniev was correct. We are now changing the power board.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right for the wrong reason. So, yeah. Also, Treblaine, I do this for a living, Tom. I appreciate that reference. That's a reference that no one gets, because apparently just no one watched Collateral. So, yeah. I think about that quote a lot. Have you ever seen Collateral?
No.
Collateral was a Tom Cruise film.
Okay.
Tom Cruise plays an assassin.
Okay.
And he hires a taxi driver to drive him around the city for the night while he does a load of hits.
Okay.
And the taxi driver cottons on to that he's driving a hitman around town to do a hit on a load of people.
Right.
And then it's about him now trying to escape the situation without now getting killed by the assassin because he knows he's an assassin.
Right.
And at the end of the film, they have a confrontation where they're on a subway and the taxi driver is just like sort of like, oh, it's him or me now. And Tom Cruise is just like, you know, you're a taxi driver, I'm a hitman. And he goes, I do this for a living. You know, like, this is not a fight you're going to win. And just, yeah, he's just like, I do this for a living, you know. And I think about that quote a lot. Jamie Foxx, yeah.
Spoilers, I'm sure it's a film that's 25 years old.
It's not that old. It's semi-modern. It's a good movie. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good. Yeah, the taxi driver has a very interesting character. He's very much stuck in a rut, and he keeps saying like, "Oh, I'm going to start my own limousine company," kind of thing. That's his plan, and that's been his plan for the past X many years, kind of thing. He says to all, he's like, "I'm going to start my own limousine company," and you know, he says this to Tom Cruise, kind of thing. He's just like, "When? Why haven't you?
Yeah.
Why haven't you done this tomorrow?"
Yeah.
You know, that's his character arc kind of thing. And it's kind of interesting. Let's change the power board on this.
Smack!
I didn't mean to hit it that hard.
Luckily, this is the broken one.
Beans. So, yeah. All right.
Last time you did that.
Oh, yeah, that was at the pub, wasn't it? I did that joke at a pub, and the table was just like, you know when you hit something and it just makes an awful lot more noise than you expected it to?
The top of the table was like loose to the legs or something. So it did it and just everything erupted. It was like, oh, I see.
Right, how's this locking connector work? Does this connector even lock? It looks
What
like
was this film called?
It's called Collateral.
Okay. I'm gonna stick it in my tabs so I pick it up. Collateral. There you go.
I don't think I actually have to remove those. Right. You know, I'm tempted just to take this off and just change this whole back piece. Like, not even bother disassembling it. Okay, there's our backlight connector over there. That's that. All right, screw. A screw that's not in straight. Dell Ultra, 2 screws that aren't in straight. Dell Ultra Sharps are really good. You know?
until you smash them.
Oop.
Oh.
What the hell?
What? Interesting.
Yeah. Very weird locking connector.
Nice.
And back plastic just to make sure that high voltage doesn't short against the rest of it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there we go. There's the split. Interesting way they've cut those out. That board is at a very janky angle.
I presume that it's done like that as well, just so you can get the extra HDMI here.
Oh yeah, yeah. They've got them on. I mean, like
because there is a fuck ton of I/O.
This is the reason why we like Dell Ultra Sharps. You know,
I heard you wanted inputs.
Yeah, this is the reason why we like Dell Ultra Sharps. Because, yeah. Oh, you've got HDMI and DisplayPort on your monitor? That's cute. Yeah.
DisplayPort, mini DisplayPort, other DisplayPort.
Like, oh, there's a massive gap between those two DP connectors. We'll put in another mini DisplayPort. See, this is the great thing, is when you buy a Dell Ultra Sharp, it comes with a mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort cable, because then that way, whatever you have on your graphics card, you could just reverse the cable and use the other connector on the monitor.
Yeah.
It's genius.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Also, I just love daisy chaining.
Good. Right. We're keeping that.
Hi, you have 2 outputs from your graphics card, but guess what? 4 monitors!
Yeah. Can you really do 4? Yeah. Oh, from 2, yeah.
Yeah, because you've got 2 connectors out of a PC.
Yeah.
Into 2 monitors,
I
and
thought,
then daisy chain.
Yeah, I thought you were daisy chaining 4 screens off of one DisplayPort. I was like, what? Yeah.
No.
Hypothetically, could you do that at potato resolution?
I think you can do that. In theory, on DisplayPort 2, you could, by the fact that there would be enough bandwidth.
Does DisplayPort 2 exist yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're on DisplayPort 2.1 something now.
Oh, I thought we were on like 1.4b.
No.
Which had been around since the Stone Age and everyone's really sick and tired of it.
Yeah, DisplayPort 2 exists.
Okay, yeah.
As an actual ratified standard, if that makes sense. It exists, it is real. And DisplayPort 2.1 is in, acceptance or whatever it is. Actual products with DisplayPort 2, I couldn't name a single one presently, but I think the Radeon 7000 series has DisplayPort 2. I think. Which supports like 8K 240 hertz.
Yeah, because 1.4b just hung around and outstayed its welcome by too damn long. Yeah.
But yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, but
Oh, Arc supports DP2.x. That's good.
Does it?
Apparently.
A
man on YouTube said it, so it must be true.
I was going to say, because as far as I was aware, the Arc GPUs didn't support DP 1.4.
Really? What?
Yeah, because it's a 2019 GPU core.
Yeah, well, 1.4b has been around since forever, though, hasn't it?
I know, but that's what makes it even worse.
Oh no!
I know it only supports HDMI 1.4.
Please verify this.
We need it was HDMI 1.4. That was it, yeah.
Yeah, like not having HDMI 2 was a bit like sort of, oh, really? But sure, okay. However, if it was like HDMI 1.2 or, sorry, if it was DisplayPort 1.2 or something like that, that would be astonishingly terrible. Right. Oh, okay. We're fine. We're
Oh
on
no,
ARC.
and that it is.
It's
Oh,
1.4.
and DisplayPort 2.
Oh yeah,
Holy shit.
DP2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. They say they support HDMI 2B and 2.1. Interesting. But it only does 4K 60.
I was going to say.
Therefore, it isn't HDMI 2.1.
They probably tested it on like one monitor.
Oh no! It's the stupid fake fact that you can call HDMI that doesn't do 4K 120 2.1 because they've made half of the features of HDMI 2 optional.
Oh no! Is this a USB 3.0 2x2x4?
Four work groups.
Yeah. Yeah. So on. Okay.
I entirely stole that from Ravnia.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, yeah. For a moment, I thought you were really funny, but actually, Ravnia was really funny. So yeah.
Well, as they say, the key to creativity is knowing how to hide your sources.
Yeah.
You know, if at first you don't succeed, skydiving probably isn't for you.
Here's a broken LCD panel.
Excellent.
I'll put this to one side. And now we've got to take apart another one. Right, which one are we taking apart? I can't remember.
I think this one, because I think this one is the dirty one.
Yes, and I don't believe I moved that one.
Yes, this is the dirty one.
Very well.
So we'll do the dirty one.
Okay.
Or more precisely, you will.
I was going to say, like, I'd say, do you want to do some disassembly? However, having watched me take that one apart, you're probably like, no, I do not. So yeah.
I am perfectly contented to not.
Yeah.
Because that was violent. The video outputs came out 2x2. Hurrah. Hurrah. Very good, Sleepwalker.
All right, we're going in a lot faster on this one because I know the angle that the clips come out at now. Once you know the... with plastic clips, there's what I call the defeat angle, which is where you've got the clip at exactly the angle which actually pries it away from the lug that it's hooked on. So undoes the clip kind of thing. And once you've found that defeat angle, they just start popping out. But it's all about getting the prying tool to that specific angle. So you kind of have to just like get the tool in there and then move it one direction then another until you find that angle.
Yeah. USB 2x4 ABXY BLT no mayo. I'm just waiting for USB 4 2x2 and then USB 4.1 replacing the 2x2 and then the USB 4.1.2 Gen 2 2x2.
I want to punch the people that work at the USB consortium or whatever they're called.
Yeah, USB IF, because it's like, what? What was wrong with just calling it USB 3 for 5 gigabit, USB 3.1 for 10 gigabit, USB 3.2 for 20 gigabit, and then USB 3.4 for 40 gigabit?
The worst part is the fact that they've changed the name of the standards more than once.
Yeah.
Like they've done a whole rename on it to fix this, and then done it again, and it's still terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? This is your job. Yeah. You do this for a living, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, just going through and calling it USB 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, 3.4 kind of thing makes sense. Skipping 3.3 I can kind of understand because you make the sub number effectively denote the speed kind of thing in multiples of 10. I can kind of follow a logic to that. But like, ugh.
Yeah. Right.
Also, I feel like there should be a requirement for like USB to say that, you know, if you're going to be a USB 4 port, it must support 20 watts.
Oh, that's a broken clip. Oh, it's not. It's okay. Yeah. When that one went, I was just like, that felt like it snapped. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like now we should be saying like USB 4 should support 20 watts of power delivery and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like power delivery is not really mentioned in any of these specs, is it?
Not specifically, because then you have separately USB PD, which is the power delivery specs.
Yeah, because like I think someone
just kind of
like someone the other day in the Discord mentioned about charging their phone from the USB port and saying how it would say it was fast charging and then it would turn off, and I read that and I was just like, I don't know how much power can a USB 3 port actually supply these days.
As far as I'm aware, by default it's 10 watts, unless it's a USB PD port.
Yeah.
At which point it then does the power delivery stuff, which can, in theory, go up to 240 watts.
Very well.
However, as far as I'm aware, the actual PD ports are only in Type C. There aren't any Type A PD ports.
Yeah.
I think Type A cannot be ratified for PD. But that's purely an assumption based on the availability of products.
Yeah.
Because all chargers that support power delivery are Type C chargers.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's also, as far as I know, USB Type A only has 8 pins.
Hmm.
Is it 8 for USB 3?
3. It's 4 for the defaults, an additional 5 for the Type 3 pins, and then you've got Shield, so it would be 10 total
10,
on a
okay.
Type A port.
Yeah, and obviously USB-C is up to 20 pins, isn't it?
There's the clip that I broke, so I did break one.
Ah, which is the broken one?
The one that's closest to us. However, you won't know once it goes back together.
Yeah, but it's obviously a case of we can use the non-broken one because
Sure.
one of these is ending up broken.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Don't forget to unplug the screen.
Yes. I was like, I'm forgetting something and I'm not sure what.
The screen! Well, if you're forgetting it, it's not important. Also interesting, that's black.
I was about to say, this is a slightly different connector. It looks compatible, but it's a different manufacturer of the connector. Different. So, yeah.
Which panel? Is this an LG panel?
It's it's an AU Optronics.
Yeah, interesting.
It's a different panel.
And the Smash panel's an LG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no.
You're getting a crap panel now.
Well, I've no idea. It was more just a case of, oh no, does that mean that the boards are different?
No. Because this bit is all standardized. So I say, assuming it will fit in, because, yeah. Oh, no.
There's a different thickness of pad there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, they're the same. They're the same. Yeah, it's just got a thick pad on it, presumably. I think that's just to compression fit it a little bit more, just to be like this will not come loose kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just press that down as I put it in.
Interesting. USB Type D when? Yes, the USB 5 connector is actually just an HDMI port to really fucking confuse everyone.
How? Goes like that. There we go.
How?
Okay, right.
Is it possible to interrogate a monitor to know what panel it is? Like, does that come up in Windows by default?
I don't know.
So I suddenly thought of that on this.
Yeah.
It's like if I go to the...
Is that some... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's in the EDID payload or not.
Because a lot of the time it just comes up as like a generic PMP monitor and stuff like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of the time it doesn't come up with the name of the monitor.
Yeah,
which surprises me as well.
Yeah. I think the question is there a utility that interrogates the EDID for all of the information? Because obviously there's more in the EDID than you see in Windows.
Oh yeah, sorry. My question was, does Windows by default tell you?
Yeah. So I think the answer to that is no, but there's probably a third-party app which will just dump the EDID and tell you what panel is in the monitor.
Oh, there's monitors. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. Lead Farmer just said EDID, but the question there is, okay, but how?
Ah, there we go. Oh, you can get some information out of it.
Oh,
like
interesting.
That's probably an Acer, by the fact it says ACR and this is an Acer.
Yeah, that doesn't tell us about the panel, though, does
it?
No,
but just, there is some information.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There is a little bit of information.
Yeah. Yeah, this is driver data though, so
Yeah.
I'm.
Oh no, absolutely. But I
Yeah.
was just like, what is actually in there in
Yep.
Windows by default? Yeah.
Linux will tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that would be good if we ran Linux, wouldn't it? All right.
Yeah. I mean, my question was specifically within the bounds of does Windows by default tell you?
Yes. Good. Right.
Cool.
I think this is
You
ready
need to screw
just...
that back up.
Yeah, I already screwed it back up. So
Excellent. Have you reconnected the connectors?
I have connected the connectors. I'm going to look again because I've had a pint, and we know what I'm like after a pint. Right. Every connector has a cable going into it, and there are no cables that don't go into anything.
Excellent.
Very good. Right, and the hook that I broke is actually broken from there, so there is no such thing as putting the not broken one on.
Ah, I see.
So yes.
Oh well.
I'm sorry. Right, I'm going to give this a firm press, and it's going to go clickety click.
Hopefully. Excellent.
Except there, because the clip's broken. That needs to just sit in a little bit, I think. I'm not sure, actually. No, that's fine. There we go.
One of these is not in. Crunch. Ta-da! Just record these clicks and then overlay them over a video of a chiropractor.
Oh no. This one came out of, so this one, this is the maybe has a bad power board.
Yes, because it's the black one. Yes.
Yes, that maybe has a bad power board.
Yes.
Right, so we're now going to plug this in and see if it still works.
Yes.
Fine, you're plugging it in then. I'm going to sit and drink cider.
Cool.
We'll go over here and drink cider.
Ta-da! Look at that.
EDID, very good. EDID sent by the monitor to the computer is not the same as the EDID of the panel. Interesting.
Yes.
Hello, by the way, Pianov.
Hello. I wouldn't expect them to be the same. I was just wondering if you could interrogate.
Yeah, no, I assumed it was all one single packet of information that the monitor had, that it would just pass to the computer to say, I am this make and model, I support the following resolutions and display modes, and I have this panel connected to me, or something like that. So yeah, is there an EDID from the panel to the monitor electronics then, which is not in turn passed on?
Did I put it into one? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da!
All right, it still works. So now I guess we sit around for 5 minutes and see if it falls over.
Oh yeah, and it didn't retain the screen brightness, or it retained the screen brightness from the other one, which is entirely what was expected.
Yes. Very good.
There you go. That works. Just replacing that with this and just
I
oh
see,
look,
yes.
I can see it, and it has viewing angles.
I mean, I have better monitors that I can put there. However,
it's just finding one that's sufficiently small.
Yeah, that's the thing. We want that monitor to be small because it doesn't need to do a lot, you know.
No.
So yes. Good. Right. I guess we sit down and we talk and entertain. I mean, I guess we could put the other monitor back together with the. Is it worth putting that?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is we still don't know which one has the bad power board.
Yeah. Okay.
Although, well, no, we're fairly certain that this one is the bad power board, so we're going to put the one that we're fairly certain is the bad power board into the one with the broken panel.
Yeah.
So then the other monitor that hasn't been taken apart, we're going to assume, well, we just don't know what's wrong with that, and that just needs testing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's a possibility that there is absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I just put it in the wrong place.
Fair enough. Very well then. Okay. All right.
A ferret.
I guess it's National Ferret Day or something. Okay. All right.
Good.
I will continue.
Excellent. So is this little connector standardized?
I think so, yeah. I'm fairly certain this connector is standard.
Piernoff says, modern stuff is more complex, but on older stuff with LVDS panels and VGA DVI, you'd have one ROM on the panel wired to the LVDS connector that the monitor motherboard may or may not read, and another ROM on the monitor mainboard wired to VGA DVI.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. That makes sense to me. LVDS was the old standard for the monitor to communicate with for the panel to communicate with the monitor controller.
Right.
So, like for example, in a laptop,
yeah,
the display cable would have been an LVDS cable,
which kind of died out when it stopped being the CFC, not CFC.
Not sure.
CFL?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
That's an interesting
I thought that was when it swapped over.
When did we go over to EDP? Did that come in with LED? No, I don't think so, because 40-pin LED panels were a thing, and I'm assuming that 40-pin was LVDS.
Right. Oh, I see. Okay. And then it was only, and then the
However,
so how did they get rid of 10 pins?
Because digital, I think LVDS.
Oh,
I think LV.
I see.
I don't know the details because I never really knew the difference between LVDS and EDP and that technical spec. I just knew that there were 30-pin panels and 40-pin panels. That's as far as my technical knowledge went with LCDs. And to a certain extent is still the case. I'm aware of EDP being a thing that they're all using.
As Piernoff says, there are many LVDS LED panels, but I don't think there are any EDP CFL panels.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. The really fun part was in the crossover period when we were still trying to source some CCFL panels, and you would buy a CCFL panel that was actually an LED panel that had a converter board that would convert the CCFL power input to an LED drive power thing. So instead of having a CCFL inverter, they had an LED driver board instead and it was, really weird. There were some really weird panels in the crossover period that where you could kind of adapt a CCFL laptop to an LED panel. And it was a bit weird.
I'd imagine that would have been massively brighter.
Yes.
And massively more white.
Yeah, because CCFL was fucking awful, basically.
Where are the Dell 30 inches which are in parts?
They're in the back room.
Just because of how yellow those went.
I was just going to say, I haven't bothered trying to reassemble them or put them into service because they're CCFL.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't care.
The only reason we were going to do anything with them was because I found a CCFL to LED conversion kit.
Oh, yeah,
that you could get, but it was just a case of we never did anything with it, and now it's a case of those monitors are 12 years old now.
Yeah.
Just chuck them and buy something nice and new.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. Yeah.
The pixel response time on them is probably measured in days.
Do the pixels respond? Yes.
By post.
Right, that is all on. Once we figured out the way into these were actually an easier assembly disassembly than the other panel was.
Yeah. Oh, I hope we got a shot of what the model number was for that LG panel.
Maybe. If it wasn't covered up by our faces, it might be in the VOD.
Yeah, that's what I meant, just because it'd be interesting to see if you can buy those panels for a decent price. Because if you can...
Oh, I see, yeah, to replace the smashed one.
Yeah, because if you can, if it's, I don't know, 50 quid, 60 quid, it's worthwhile doing.
Yes.
These are still £200 monitors.
Yes, because like, whenever I've searched, oh yeah, thank you. Whenever I've searched in the past for replacement panels for a monitor, I've never been able to find them, but I've always been searching by the monitor model number.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really have the experience at the time to realize that what I needed to do was disassemble the monitor and search for the panel number.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're charging the monitor chiropractic rates. That's how it works, Muerto.
You've got to charge them £40 for every 15 minutes of work. I mean, it seems to be working.
I was going to say, it hasn't fallen over, but who knows, because neither of them fell over for the 5 or 10 minutes that we let them run. Like I say, with monitors, you kind of got to give them half an hour. I've had monitors that have been completely fine for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then once they get up to full operating temperature, then they start flashing and cutting out and flickering.
Yeah.
It happened. I owned a TV a while back, a long time ago. The last TV I owned that had a bad power board in it, and it would cut out now and then. You'd have to leave it off for 15, 20 minutes, and then you turn it on, and it would run for another couple of hours, no problem. So yeah. Right.
Do you mind?
Oh, it's the smashed screen. Show beans.
Bloody hell. I don't know. Anyway.
Cool. All right, what's our plan? Are we going to sit around for half an hour and watch this, or are we going to say that's about as far as we can go for now?
It depends. Yeah, I was going to say it depends on whether you want to do anything else. Because we've got the 30-inch Dell as well. We'll see if we want to if we can pull the card reader off of that. Because it's the card reader that keeps connecting and disconnecting.
Yeah, we just want to disconnect that, don't we? Yeah.
Because if we can, that makes it functional again.
Yes. Sure. Let's get the big 30-inch then, shall we? Yeah. All right. Do you want to replug that and put it down over there or something? Or
I'm going to unplug the HDMI.
I'll go get the 30-inch.
I'm going to put you over here. There you go. Ah, yes, I saw that the System Shock remake has actually been released 12 years later.
Had that not come out? I thought that came out 12 years ago.
No, I remember it getting demoed blimmin' ages ago.
Yeah.
And then nothing happening, and basically the project dying.
Right, I'm going to relocate the bench.
Suggestion. Drink more cider and ramble about USB standards more.
Who's suggesting this?
JRLLY, Drill?
Drilly. I think I call them Jirilli, yeah. I refer to you as Jirilli, by the way, I'm sorry. Fair enough. Right. Look down further. There we go.
Bloong.
Oh, other way. There we go.
That'll do.
This picture is straight.
Hard to find desktop monitor panels, and shipping them can be challenging. Even harder to find cheaper than the equivalent used monitor. You have to consider different model panels with equivalent specs, but no guarantee about full compatibility.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Generally speaking, whenever someone comes in, like, it's very rare that someone comes in with a desktop monitor that doesn't work, because desktop monitors are pretty reliable, all things considered. They don't really break.
It's kind of why I'm up for consideration that it's worth spending slightly more than you actually have on them.
Yeah.
Because it's a case where it's like, well, it can serve you for 2 PCs before you even really consider it.
Yeah. However, when someone does come in, on the uncommon occasion when someone does come in with a broken monitor, I usually turn around and say, go and buy a new one.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah. However... Are you okay there? I mean, you're not okay. You're very not okay, however... Please take a moment to gather yourself. I will mute while you sort yourself out. I don't know what just happened to you, but you just had a moment.
Ow.
Compose yourself and then let me know when, and I will unmute you again.
I'll be back.
Yes.
Oh. Ow.
Yes, I think he accidentally inhaled the drink. So I think that was a went down the wrong way, but in the worst possible way. Yes. So we're going to try and take apart this one now, everyone. This is a Dell. Oh, it's a big boy. This is a Dell U3014T. This is a 30-inch monitor. Again, it is quite an old model, so it's DVI, or it has DVI. Oh, this has got DVI, HDMI, and DisplayPort. So again, fantastic conductivity. It's 2014. Oh, that's newer than I thought. Yeah.
It's 3014.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Are you well?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Oh boy.
That looked rough. So yeah, I was just like,
excuse me.
Yes. So this one has a let me demonstrate. This one has a built-in card reader on the side of it. There. And the card reader, we believe, is faulty and keeps disconnecting. So the intention is just simply to disconnect the module that is here, so the other USB ports on the back can continue to be used.
Hopefully those 2 USB ports can still be used.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame that it's only got 2 on the back.
Yeah, it's got 2 on the side and 2 on the back. Are they USB 3?
Yeah, it's USB 3.
Oh, it's got a USB 3 uplink, but...
Yeah, they are USB 3.
Are they? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they're 5 gigabit ports.
The side ones are. I don't think the back ones are, though.
Aren't they? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, the back ones are USB 2. That's a sad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's weird. Because it doesn't come up as 2 hubs.
Unless, I can't... Let me see if the camera can see in there, actually. Oh, yeah. Can we, bring up Insta360 and just go to, like, maximum zoom.
What? There's definitely something there.
Hang on a sec. Torch. I can't see the...
But yeah.
Can't see the USB 3 pins at the front of it.
No. Interesting. How odd.
Let me come out. I need to move my hand out of shot so it's so it focuses in the right place. However, yeah, like by comparison, if we go to the side ones.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You can clearly see the USB 3 pins at the front of those. Oh, that's a terrible angle.
But yeah,
if I come to
there
you go. You can see the row of 5 pins at the very front of the port that indicate that it's your Type 3. So I think the back ones are 2.0. I don't know. Anyway. Here's a view of black. There we go.
There we go.
Right.
Good afternoon, Si. How are you doing?
It's going to be an hour or so before you're normal again, isn't it?
Oh, dear. Was I ever normal? Was that ever a thing?
Yeah. Okay, right. I've got to figure out how to open this thing up. So this one is this is going to be a front panel off job. So I'm going to start popping off the front panel. And also, yes, hello, Si. How it goes? I hope you are well.
Oh, that's unfortunate that they're Type 2. Yeah, they're USB 2.
Again, I think so. Like,
yeah,
you can usually see the USB 3 pins at the front because the USB 3 pins are at the back of the plug. So by that extension, oh no, they're labeled as super speed on the back.
Yeah, that's why I thought they were super speed.
I think they are. I just can't see I just can't get an angle in there to see the physical pins.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yes.
Good heavens.
Moments that kill the conversation in a Two Guys Talk Tech podcast. The freezer suddenly vibrating and earthquaking off the desk, and Caradog inhaling cider up the nose.
Oh, excellent. Sai is alive again. Good. I am pleased you are not dead.
Have you been ill?
Yes.
I see.
Yes, the issue with this monitor is that the card reader connects and disconnects about once a second. And it's basically a case of, because it connects and disconnects, it then also just breaks the USB devices that are connected via the monitor. So it causes weird USB issues with them. Crunch.
Yeah. Oh.
The noises. They are essential.
Yeah, like, I usually cut this stuff because it sounds horrendous, man. But then on the other hand, part of me is just like if I don't like this stuff being in videos because people will be like, oh, you're breaking all the clips. I'm like, I'm not breaking the clips. This is just how you open this kind of thing. It's not designed to be opened. But then on the other hand, I should include this in the video as a demonstration that this is just what it sounds like, you know.
Oh, I see. They put the lugs for the speaker bar on the back.
Yeah, that's the old style hook. The old style latch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of speaker bars that fit those on that monitor and that monitor.
Yeah.
Because it is really good because the monitor itself has a 12-volt output to power the speaker bar. So it means you can stick a speaker bar on these monitors and have not awful sound without requiring another socket to power the speakers.
Yeah.
The modern ones are just USB powered now, though, so it's neither here nor there. So yeah. Well, it's a single USB connection, which you can then plug into the hub on the monitor itself, and it powers it. And so there's just one wire coming out of the thing. Whereas these ones have they have a USB wire, and then you also have a 3.5mm jack that has to go into the computer.
Oh, can it not go into the monitor?
No, it cannot, because while... oh, no, this one does have an audio output. Yeah. Now I want to check the other ones. Have I been wiring up these screens wrong this whole time?
I don't think the 2012Ms have audio out.
Yeah, no, this one has... Yeah, these ones have the... I'm just going to rest that on the bezel there. They have the 12-volt output for the speaker bar. However, it's because they're not HDMI, so there's no means of getting audio to the monitor.
Does DVI not do sound?
No. That's the that's the multimedia in HDMI. That's why we needed HDMI.
I mean,
it's a smaller connector as well, but yeah.
Don't forget there's a cable.
Yes.
I'm just gonna lift this. Ah.
Can you move your watch, please? Thanks. I wasn't sure if you were just trying to flex or what, you know, but...
No. Imagine having 2 of these on your desk.
Yeah, I know, right? Every time I get bigger monitors at home, I'm just like, this is the biggest I would possibly want to have 2 monitors on my desk at. And then the next time I get bigger monitors, you know, like when I got dual 24s, I was like, that's fine. Never need anything bigger than that. I now have dual 27s. And like, I know that the next gaming monitor I buy is probably going to be a 30-inch OLED, you know, and I'm not going to buy 2 of those because when I buy one of those, they're going to cost like 800 or $1,000 or something like that. So I'll buy one of them and have a side screen. But still, you know, it makes you think.
But yeah, that was my setup for...
Is this ultra sharp 1440p?
It's
close. It's
yeah.
16 by 10, so it's 20. What is it?
2560 1600.
Yeah, 2560 by 1600. So it's 1440p, except it's 16 by 10. Trying to find somewhere from which I can lift. I have a. Oh, there we go. It's just really freaking heavy.
Can this go away?
Yeah, move it. Thank you.
Oh, there's a spider in there.
There is. Spider.
Oh, it's on the frame. Ah, I also have a bottle in my hand. This is very cack-handed.
Okay, I've got it.
Because I was avoiding the bottle getting hit by that, and then I was like, you need a hand here, and then it was just, You have that. I can put this down.
Well, technically at this point, all I have to do is just that. Whoops.
That zift was zipped.
Yep, that ziff was zero removal force as well. Okay, right. So I've just disconnected this module from the side of it, which is I don't know why that had two cables going to it, but yeah, I've just disconnected. That's the thing, right? Yeah, that has been disconnected. I guess we just put the cover back on now, right? Unless, do you want to look at it? I don't know if there's anything to see, but like...
No, there is no way of getting the USB ports to function and the card reader to not function.
I don't know, unless you want to have a look at that to see if one of them is... the ZIF cable is USB and the other one is card reader or something like that.
Yeah?
We could... Yeah, hang on a sec. Okay, let me move this.
Also, I now know what the part number is. I'm going to quickly eBay.
Oh.
L2260-2. Wah, wah, wah.
Ah, yes, fermentation crock jars. It's definitely what we were looking for.
That sounds like a delightfully weird insult. You fermentation crock jar.
Do you want to zoom in on this? Why does it have two connectors? Why did we only disconnect one? I disconnected one and ripped the other one out, is the answer to that question. Right. I'm sorry, what? Hang on a sec. I'm just going to lift this up to my face and stare at it for a sec.
What are you?
Oh no, they do go places. Okay, yeah. So for a moment, it looks like most of the pins on this ZIF connector were just not connected, but it looks like it has at least 3 pairs that just immediately go their separate ways and go back to this controller chip. So I do think that is the main data line. The question is, what the hell does this boy do then in that case? Because the question is one of these USB and the other one the card reader? So we've got a control chip, which is probably for the card reader there. So yeah. It would be nice to be able to retain the USB ports and just ditch the card reader. But then we don't know that it's not this entire board.
Yeah.
So my inclination is just to leave the whole board disconnected.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was just hoping that we'd take it out and go, oh, that one's labelled USB. Oh, that one's labelled card reader.
Exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah, if we'd seen something like that, I'd probably say, oh, let's chance it and see if the USB ports are savable.
Yeah.
But yeah. There's not much to see there. Very well. Just rip the card reader off the board, the chip rather. You're gonna get unexpected behavior from that, I think. So yeah, desolder the card chip circuit. I mean, we can try it if you wanted to do that. We could just hot air the card reader controller chip off the board.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see why not.
Let's see what happens then. Right, hold on a sec. I'm not going to drag the hot air station over here, so I'm just going to go.
Air over there.
Yeah, I'll switch on the microscope though.
Which is not plugged in.
I will plug in the microscope and then switch it on. Do you have any other objections?
Yes. Overruled.
Objection. Ching. All right, stand by, everyone. Vision is coming. I mean, like, you know, you will be able to see what we're doing, not like the superhero, The Vision. From hit superhero series Marvel's The Avengers.
Cam link. There we go.
All right.
Spiffy. Oh, I don't like how the image is very much not straight when you move stuff. The scanning is very top to bottom rolling shutter.
Yeah, also we're upside down. Oh yeah, the scanning thing, yeah. I think that might be the mini HDMI to HDMI adapter, but I've noticed that the past couple of times I've been using the scope, there's something funky going on with the HDMI output, and I don't know, I haven't done enough testing into trying to fix that yet. However, I'm just going to savage this off the board. So I'm going to grab a pair of tweezers. I've set the hot air station to 450 degrees, maximum airflow, and I'm going to blast this guy off the board.
I'm confused.
You have to unlock the source before you can rotate it. So hit the...
Oh, I couldn't work out which source I changed. It's fine, I'd properly confused myself there.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right. Not convinced about this, if I'm honest, but let's just see what happens, I guess. Trying to move to the bottom left so you guys can see the most.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is the microscope putting out an interlaced image?
Probably.
Because that's what it looks like it is. It's the weird...
Oh, stand by. I'm changing things. Yeah, no, I think so.
Just because, yeah, that is wild. Apparently that's an audio chip.
Just because it's made by Realtek doesn't mean it's audio.
What?
Realtek make more than audio chips. Realtek make a lot of stuff. Oh, well.
That's never going back
on.
There
we go. All right, have I left any bridged connectors there? I have, oh, possibly up in that guy. I'll touch that up with a soldering iron. I'll bring that over to this bench because the soldering iron is over here.
Very well. I will now go...
That's the wrong camera. That's the wrong link, you fool.
I want the...
You connected to a random camera in the middle of the workshop that was just looking across the room. Where did I put the soldering iron? Oh, there's the holder. And the soldering iron, there's the power cable for it. Oh, it's there. There we go. All right, I just need to touch up those pads just to make sure we haven't left any shorted pads. Your other left, yeah.
Oh dear.
Do.
It's okay, I can fix the issue.
There we go. You know, I'm not under a microscope. These pads look an awful lot smaller.
I'm loving the cam angle. It is very much hair.
Oh, sorry. Did I just? Yeah. Now you can see all my dandruff. Okay, right. Going back to the scope. Oh my God, there's still a bridge. No, come on.
Use the wick?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will wick it down. Yep. Usually, just reflowing all of the joints is probably enough to pull out any bridges. However, no. I need to get some more wick, and so I've got just the end of the wick. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Ugh. God.
What?
This is just this is excessive. This shouldn't be necessary. But I just don't want to leave any bridges there because that might give us a bad day. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's what we want. All right, there. Forbidden incense.
Indeed.
That's the problem with the Amtech, man. It smells so good. When I was using fake Amtex, it smelled terrible, so you didn't want to sniff it. But the real stuff smells really good.
What on earth is a 50-foot Chemwick? I'm sure I will be concerned.
I don't know. All right, there we go. Those pads are wicked down. I will do one more check under the microscope to make sure that we don't have any bridges.
Oh, did they? Oh, they moved the buttons on there.
No.
Pine Sill. Oh, I thought they were next to each other.
No, they're next to each other on the TS100.
Oh.
However, the Pine Sills have basically exactly the same body.
Oh.
Just the internals are different.
Yeah.
So yeah. However, just for posterity, because we were talking about this earlier on, oh, my TS100's at home. Nope, you don't get to see a TS100. All right, there are no bridges.
Excellent. It has possibly been improved. The worst thing that can happen is it be equally as broken as before.
Yeah, I vote we switch it on.
Disassembled.
Yes.
Do you have a USB 3 USB-B?
Yes.
Excellent.
I do. All right, let me move all of this out of the way. Okay, all right, I shall put that back in there. Ooh. Hecking America. Okay, there we go. It's got a really strong earth spring on it. Ignition. Never. There will never be an ignition ever again. Except when there is.
Clearly what you need to do is rig lots more motherboards. And then, you know, clickbait the bejesus out of them.
Yeah, that's how I'll fix the revenue issue. Fun fact, that was one of the original plans for the YouTube channel was to do stupid stunt videos as well. Like there was going to be 3 videos. There was going to be repairs, builds and reviews, and just stupid stunt ones. Like what happens if you actually stab a LiPo battery kind of thing. Like obviously this was 12 years ago. before everyone had already done all of that, you know. However, one of the original things was to do really dumb stuff, to be a case of, I don't know, what does happen when you stab a battery? And like I would do it out in the car park kind of thing. But I just never bothered making that content, basically. So yeah. So how come you only make the stupid videos? Oh, shut up, Si. Okay. Right. Right, could you zoom us out first so we're not just staring at my hand? Thank you. Very good. All right. 360 no scope. And then I need the thing. Ah, it's there. Right, that goes in. So I'm going to plug this back in. Right, can you hold this where my left hand is, please? Thank you. Right, I'm reconnecting the board. It's going to be hard to really show you guys what we're doing, so, you know, deal with it. All right. This is a bit of audio dead space. What's going on in chat?
I am the assistant. That is all that is going on in chat.
I see. Okay.
Yes. Or
chat,
jumping through beer cans.
God damn it. If you know, you know.
Yes.
Okay, right. That has been reconnected. So that module sits just on the side-ish, there-ish. Okay, right. So now we're going to flip the bezel around to the front. Whoop. Cool, making sure we're still resting on the panel and not the bezel. Yep, okay. And now we need to put the back on, and we're just going to sandwich it all in situ, basically. So
Where'd the back go? There's the back.
Yep, that's the right way up. Okay. Okay, so now, or are we going to, yeah, I'm going to try and lay it into the back panel. So, right, if you hold the back panel, I've got the front. So let go of the front, yep. Right, I'm going to lift this up, and you're going to lay this down underneath it, and I'm going to put it all in, basically.
Okay.
Right, and I've made the same mistake I did with the other one, where we've got a bit too much of this ribbon sticking out, so the bezel doesn't want to sit down. So I'm just going to fettle that.
Are we bothering to do this up in any fashion?
No, I just want it to be sitting comfortably, basically. Okay, yeah. that's so I could press that in now. So basically, if we plug this in and it's all working, then we can just go click, 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 click.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Right. So, right. Let's give it some power and plug it in.
Yes.
I'll go and get the cable.
Fish out the cable.
Yep.
Yes. This monitor has not flickered in the time that we have been doing this. So I'm going to presume that the other one is fine. So I'm going to pull out the power on that one.
Very good.
Bonk.
Ooh, how have I made it through this stream without a coffee?
Magic.
Right. The Bizarro USB 3 Type B connector. Oops. Oh, good. Yeah, I was like, I haven't even plugged it in yet. All right, hold on a sec. Oh, sorry.
I was trying to get this in as well. So we could have the pictures. Ah.
That wasn't a good start. Oh, shit. Right. What are we on? HDMI?
Yes. Ta-da!
All right, still works. So I'll get a drive, a flash drive, and plug that in.
Well, the good starting point is that that's not spasming.
Yes. Nothing. Okay, so the USB ports do not. Oh, did you hear that? It went, yeah! Okay, so the side USB ports still work. Let's just check that it actually, like, you know, can read from that drive. Yeah, I plugged in a Windows 11 flash drive. Is that the modified one? Yeah, that's this is the official Adamant IT background that I made.
Oh.
Yeah, for use on another computer. So yeah. Good. Right, well that seems to be stable. It's not connecting, disconnecting.
Yes.
This PC is kind of slow to respond. However, also, like, this has got a fresh install of Windows on it and has not been configured, this computer. Is it? What actually is this thing?
It's a 6700. It shouldn't be
awful. 4-core 8-thread, yeah.
I honestly read that as 1-core 8-thread for a second there. I was just like, what? SMT8?
Could be worse. I've got a Dell laptop in that's stuck in a low power state. The CPU is stuck at 400 megahertz. And I'm just like, are you okay? I mean, you're not, but... okay, right. Well, sounds good so far.
Yeah,
we should have plugged it in and tested it beforehand, just so we could, like, verify that the fault was still occurring. Because the problem with stuff like this is, like, you never know. However...
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's also a case of the worst that happens is we just pull out the entire board.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's just like...
All right, just for posterity, I'll plug it in the back. Oop. I don't know what's going on with those noises, but whatever. Fine. Good. All right. Just out of interest, how big is one of these folders? 4 gigs. Just going to do a speed test just to answer this question once and for all. How fast are you copying? Yeah, it's USB 3.
It's definitely not USB 2.
Yeah, because it's doing 80 megs per second, which USB 2 tops out at 20. So yeah. Very well. So yeah, they are indeed USB 3 ports. So yeah, they must have had the extra pins there, but we just couldn't get the visual angle to see them.
Yeah.
So yeah. Very well.
Good.
Cool. Just delete that, just to... even though this computer's going to get wiped anyway. But all right, well, that seems to be fine. So
yeah,
I'm going to click, 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 click.
Absolutely. And now you can use the USB ports on this, in theory.
I could, yeah. Or are you going to swap these out again? Because was there anything wrong with the other one? Because you own 2 of these.
Yeah. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the other one.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because I know you swapped back. You swapped out this one
because this was the one that was dicking me around.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the other one though, to our knowledge, is completely fine then. So yeah, cool. All right. So yeah, both fully functional again. Yeah, there we go. Nice screen. So yeah, the only disadvantage is just that it's 60 hertz. So which is the only thing that doesn't make it a gaming monitor, but they're still nice screens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like the fact that
I really hate the capacitive controls on this thing.
The preset modes won't jump up. I love the fact that there is a game mode.
I see. I don't understand these presets. Like,
but yeah,
you know, a lot of them just seem to be really bizarro settings where you're like, who would want this?
There we go.
But yeah. Yeah, sRGB seems to usually be a good one to go for.
Well, yeah, everything should be in sRGB because that is the color space that stuff is in.
Yeah, fair enough then, yeah. Yeah.
Stuff isn't in a Adobe RGB.
Yeah.
Unless you know.
Unless you're in a yeah.
If you know you are, but if you don't know, you're not.
Yes. Every other monitor, I usually just select sRGB, and like you lose a bit of brightness on that, but you're losing some brightness because the panel is actually the monitor is actually going to a brightness where it is actually capable of achieving true color. Whereas most monitors, in order to attain maximum brightness, they butcher the colors. So yeah.
You can't hold it for some reason.
Yeah.
However.
Yeah.
Would you like any more brightness?
Yeah. Well, that much. But any idea what the rating on these monitors are? I mean, they're not that old, but I can't. Like, ultra bright monitors are still relatively new, aren't they? So I can't imagine that this is more than 400.
No, I wouldn't imagine so either.
Especially allowing for the fact that it's a 60 hertz screen, so it doesn't need to be particularly bright. 250, yeah, that sounds plausible. Yeah, a lot of non-high refresh rate monitors are actually not particularly bright, but because they're low refresh rate, they don't need to be bright. Whereas when you're doing high refresh rate, you need a lot of brightness to push through.
Sure, whatever.
So yeah. 350.
350.
Oh yeah.
CDM.
Oh yeah. So when I said 400, I wasn't a million miles out.
Yeah.
I was going to say 250 sounded a bit on the low side, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go then. Good. All right. Well, that's functional. Yeah, just a bummer we didn't test it beforehand, so we had a before-after comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, that's at least one of them is mission achieved. Then mission objective achieved. I'm a bit sad about the other the U2414 that we changed the USB port on because I genuinely thought that was going to fix it. So yeah, I'm kind of sad that didn't work out. So yeah, that's that. And then the other one with the smashed panel, I think we can assume that is at least a fixed monitor there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can put that one into service. And then the other one that doesn't have the smashed one, that one I guess you'll have to put into service in order to find out if there's anything wrong with it.
See what happens with it, basically.
Just swap it out with someone else's monitor and don't tell them. And then just see if they complain, basically. So yeah, very good. Question, do you go down the pub after the stream? Not really, no, because normally once we finish streaming, I usually get about 5 minutes and then be like, I'm tired, I want to go home now. So that's generally the mode I switch into. Occasionally we'll get a takeaway if we're doing something else. But usually at this point, I've been at work since 10 o'clock this morning and it is now 7 o'clock. So I've effectively been working for 9 hours. Yes. I've effectively been as far as I'm concerned, I've been working for 9 hours because, like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing this, but this is a performance. I am performing. This tires me out a lot, so I'm tired. And on that bombshell, I've enjoyed this conversation in English.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
we have successfully done the things.
Yeah. Appreciate the extra time. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I like doing this, but yeah, I streaming is tiring. It is a very high mental workload for me, which is why I'm often tired by the end of the stream. The fact that we drink cider on stream doesn't help. It's just like I've had a pint of cider. I haven't eaten since lunchtime, and I haven't had a coffee this afternoon, and I'm wondering why I'm tired. You know, so. Very good. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Are we back next week, or are you?
I'm not here. I think it's the 10th, 17th, 20 something.
Well, those are the next 3 weekends.
Yeah.
Are you away for the next 3 weeks?
I can't remember if it's the next 3 or if I'm not here the 10th, 24th, and 1st. But I'm certainly not here next week.
You're not here next week. Okay,
yes.
Right. So next week, if I can think of something, then I'll do a solo stream. Otherwise, we might take a week off, and I'll just have a Saturday afternoon to myself. So watch this space. I will. Yeah, we might not be here. If I'm here, I'll make a note to actually schedule a stream on like Friday to let you guys know that we're here. However, if we get to Saturday morning and there's no scheduled stream, then it means we're not on, basically. So yeah, I'm aware that I usually forget to schedule the stream, and sometimes like today's scheduled stream didn't go up until lunchtime today. However, if I'm solo streaming next Saturday, then I will schedule it on Friday to let you guys know that it's happening. If there's nothing up on Friday night, it means we're not on next week. So past that, thank you very much for tuning in. See you soon. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the super chats. And that's it. Bye, I guess.
Ta-ra. Tatty bye.
Bye. Very well.